it's kind of counterproductive. You know, people, I get like maybe 50 to 100 people viewing at any time, but you know that way I don't really get flagged. So, you know, it's cathartic. I get to vent, and then you know the video goes down. So I've been doing that for a couple years now. That format.
So you're streaming right now?
Yeah, I'm not streaming on it. I just have it muted, but I just have it so if people see my stream live, I'll give them the link when you're ready. If they want to come over and listen on. You said you're going to simulcast it on Twitch, right?
Yes, and we are live, by the way, so everybody be on your best behavior.
Cool.
I'm gonna notify.
Yeah, Dashboard does say a lot of things on his live stream that do easily trigger YouTube's algorithm into
Like what?
into full on SJ. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, full on. Yeah,
did you want the
YouTube
link?
into full on SJW snowflake mode.
Hell, did you want the link to the stream?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
Also, what's the best way to shorten your name? What do you want? Hell?
Yeah, what do you want to be
Dashboard,
called?
Light? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, Hell or Dashboard, those both work. Or Alex, whatever.
Okay, I'll go with Alex.
Like Alex.
Hell or Alex.
Alex, no.
Okay.
Mad Max.
All right. So, Alex, my manager, I suppose, Mariah, she reached out to you, right? Via email?
Yes, she did.
Okay, so you don't know who I am.
Correct.
I vaguely know who you are. That's because I very much enjoy the whole, I don't know what you want to call it, like men's rights, YouTube, or, you know, the True Force Loner side of YouTube. Black pill, red pill, incel, whatever the hell. I think a lot of people in that stratosphere take offense to the term incel at this point. I don't know how you would describe yourself. Would you like to just give your intro of yourself to my audience, if you like, in your own words?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, you're cutting out.
Good point that you
That's
sort of-
good.
Uh-oh. Alex, you're cutting out. Hello?
Are you in a stairwell?
I've been on YouTube for like maybe 4 years. 4 years now. I started like uploading videos. Oh, really? Let me see.
That's okay. You sound good now.
Do you hear me? Is the connection? No, I'm on a headset. It should be good.
It sounds like delayed, but it's okay. Feel free to give us
Okay,
your
okay,
opinion, your intro.
So an intro. I've been on YouTube.
Interesting.
Oh, it's delayed. Okay, yeah. Sorry about that. From like you know, doing like just I'd be driving around doing like rants, so I'd upload it later, and it was basically all the same content, you know, same focus about, as you said, TFL, incel. Yeah, a lot of people don't like that term incel for, yeah, it has negative connotations that it is, you know, involuntarily celibate. I think a better term is the one that you use, TFL, True Force Loneliness, because it really captures the phenomenon a lot more. It isn't, you know, for the most part, it is not sex-obsessed people with a singular obsession about sex. No, it's about people who are, like you said, isolated, alone. They can't get a relationship going with a woman. And so yes, incel that term has really been sort of dragged through the mud, you know, especially with, you know,
Yeah, it's very
events in the news and
stigmatized.
things like that.
Well,
Very
incel was a
stigmatized,
very
yeah.
obscure term before. So incel, the term really hit the mainstream after, not Elliot Rodger, but after Alec Minassian, the Toronto guy who drove his van into a crowd of people. After that, it really gained traction, and a couple of more incel, you know, terrorists. But before that, nobody even knew what the fuck an incel is. Like, I would make fun of some sort of a joke about it, and people would just look at me like, what the fuck is an incel, Kaya? What the fuck are you talking about? Okay, so you prefer True Force Loner, TFL. I think we're gonna have to introduce a lot of terms to this audience today. Hardin, how about you?
How about me? What?
As far as an intro, so to introduce you to the audience, assume for a moment that there's a lot of new viewers, so tell them who you are.
Oh yeah. I kind of feel guilty in a way, taking any of the spotlight away from Alex, because he actually deserves a stage to himself with the the knowledge he's got to share. But I support both the Black Pill and the MGTOW community, so I don't put myself exclusively in either camp.
Okay,
And the reason
MGTOW,
for
by the way, to introduce, MGTOW is men going their own way, right?
men going their own way, yes.
Mm.
Yeah, because they're both relevant movements. The difference between the two is see black pill just deals with the sexual marketplace, so the rules of black pill end past the sexual marketplace, and everything else, the rules of MGTOW apply. It's just that so many men now are living lonely, sexually deprived lives that black pill has become highly disproportionate. But even for those guys who are able to easily acquire women, I do not recommend marriage. Not in a first world country. Maybe in Cambodia or someplace.
Cambodia.
Maybe there where you don't have so many anti-male laws like you do in first world countries, but definitely not in a first world country. And and even if you are a Chad or a Tyrone, I know Dashboard will talk soon about why he disagrees with the Chad and Tyrone concept. but I'm going with that concept right now. Even if you are a Chad or a Tyrone, I don't recommend living the PUA lifestyle, because because even if you're Chad or Tyrone, you can still get caught up in the legal system with these anti-male laws, like for example, if you get a bitch for a one night stand and she falls for you real hard and you're not interested in her, she can go to law enforcement and file false criminal charges against you, and all kinds of drama can ensue there. so yeah, that's my take on this in a nutshell.
Okay, so did I hear that right there? Hell, you don't, Alex, sorry, you don't believe in Chads or Tyrones? Or what did Hardin mean there?
Yeah, so I mean, like when people throw around the term Chad or Tyrone, they say like really attractive, really masculine white dudes, black dudes are the ones having a lot of success when it comes to dating or relationships. I think it's the opposite. I think women, especially in the modern day, they are very wary and suspicious when it comes to very attractive, very masculine men. They think these guys are going to be cheaters. They're going to be cads. According, like, that's what they call it in England. Cads, guys who are cheaters. They're going to be players. They're going to be having a lot of women that they're seeing on the side. Women don't want that. Nobody wants to be cheated on. They don't want to have to be living in this constant fear of, anytime that they're not keeping their eyes on their partner, that this guy is slinking around behind their back cheating on them. So I think what's going on in the modern day, women are avoiding these guys, these hyper masculine, very good looking dudes, black dudes, white dudes, very, tall, impressive, good looking, good genes, so called. And instead, they're skewing those in favor of guys that make them much more comfortable, guys that they think don't have options, guys that, they're not afraid that their female friends are going to be interested in, that no other women are going to be interested in. And so ironically, it's these guys that have the best options when it comes to dating.
So this is your oofy doofy theory, right? The oofy doofy is...
Yeah, it's part of it. It's part of it. I mean, there's more to being a so-called, and again, these terms are just kind of like, tongue-in-cheek, like oofy doofy, schlubby hubby. What it means is
he's the
a
oaf.
guy who... Yeah, so somebody who's not just physically maybe kind of average or unimpressive, but they have personality to go along with it. They have sort of they have a very
pushovers,
easygoing, supplicating personality. They're not like a domineering, assertive type of guy. They're very, they're kind of the ones to be led around by a woman.
Okay, so
by their
what would
partner.
what do they provide to the woman besides a sort of an insurance that he's not gonna go around cheating on her? Is it wealth,
Yeah,
power?
what they provide is not yeah to the woman, and the woman in the relationship, she gets to have the upper hand psychologically, emotionally, in other ways as well. Intellectually, she wants to be sort of the dominant one when it comes to career or when it comes to educational attainment.
When it comes
Oftentimes,
to
what you see in
career?
modern relationships. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
No.
Because um, the woman wants, at least we're talking modern women. We're not talking, 30, 40, 50 years ago. When it comes to, dating in the modern world, oftentimes what you'll see in a relationship, you'll see a very sort of unassuming, unremarkable guy with a pretty attractive woman, and then people will posit all of these explanations of like, oh, he must be a millionaire, he must be a drug dealer, he must be doing something. And sometimes it gets to really kind of absurd lengths. Like you'll see a couple where it'll be, just very mismatched, and they'll be speculating about, oh, that guy has some secret, some physical attribute that, just kind of silly out there theories. And what it turns out, it's, that guy is maybe unemployed, underemployed, working something, part time in retail. And the woman that he's with is, she's got a master's degree, she's got an MBA, she's a physician's assistant, so it's no longer that, one of the another word that you'll throw out there is hypergamy, that women are always trying to date up. I don't believe this at all. I think in reality, women practice hypogamy. They date down, and they do that for a lot of reasons,
Hmm.
but mostly to sort of feel, they want to feel like they have the upper hand in the relationship, and
But
they don't want to be, if they're with a guy who's super successful, like people come up with all these hypothetical scenarios, like, oh, you could be a guy as a doctor, lawyer, you're making 400,000 a year, and you're gonna just swoop in, and you'll date a girl in retail, a girl who's a barista, she's gonna fall for you just because of how much money you make. No, that's gonna make a woman feel terrible that she's working for $10 an hour, and this guy comes swaggering in, and he's throwing around $100 bills. Women don't want to feel, they don't want to be cowed, they don't want to feel made to feel less. So in today's kind of zeitgeist or culture, I think what we're seeing is women deliberately choosing guys beneath them, and in terms of all those different attributes, education, career, even physically. This idea that if you work out in the gym, women are going to love
I
you.
no. Okay,
If you go to
so
the
you're gonna
gym,
have to. Sorry to
Mhm.
interject, but
Oh no, go ahead.
I'm pretty sure. So, study after study, as far as I know, has shown that, for instance, women are more selective with the mate they choose based on his career. Even recently, I forget. I would really have to look up the recent like polling for this, but uh, what career their partner has matters a lot more for women than it does for men. Men, on average, don't seem to really care if their wives have uh, good paying careers or salaries or anything, because men generally don't expect the woman to take care of them, but it's in the opposite way. Women do expect the man to have a better job, or it's a preference, I mean, I don't know how you would deny that if you show a woman two photos of, I don't know, identical twin guys, and you tell her one of these dudes is a janitor, the other one is a famous doctor, she's gonna go for the janitor. That doesn't make sense to me, that part.
Yeah, I mean that's based on when you're having a very sort of artificially set up experiment. And I've seen those studies. I think it was done like on some show like 2020 or Dateline, maybe 3 decades ago or 25 years ago, and they did exactly that. They had these women on the street, and they were showing them photos of like prospective dates and saying, okay, this guy's a heart surgeon, this guy is a janitor, and in that case, it's very artificial because people don't meet in that sense. Do you know what I mean? Like it was a very artificially contrived, set up experiment where
Okay,
people are flipping
okay.
through photos
All
in a
right, let's
book or
take a
something.
real
And
world example then. So you say women don't want
Mhm.
a rich and successful guy because he's gonna go around cheating. Isn't that then proof that a lot of women want those men? Take Tiger Woods, for example. Tiger Woods cheated on his wife with a bunch of fucking women, and his excuse was, oh, I'm addicted to sex, by the way. It's an addiction, you guys. I'm a victim. But isn't it Doesn't that directly dash your theory that women don't want rich and successful men if this guy had such ease sleeping with dozens and dozens
No,
of
no,
women?
no. No, because if this thought is common to a lot of women or to most women or almost all women, and they're going to be having in their mind that okay, this guy's handsome, he's successful, he's all these great attributes on paper, women are going to think that this guy is a philanderer, that he's a cheater, and so they're going to really have nothing to do with him. Maybe for something, a date once in a while, but for a long-term relationship, definitely not. And those types of stories that happen in the media when it's like a successful athlete that just serves, it's going to be a rare thing even with these athletes, but it will serve to sort of reinforce that narrative amongst them that yeah, you see, oh yeah, this rich successful guy, yeah, you can't trust him. Any guy with options, he's going to cheat, he's not going to be faithful. So I think women are very good at overriding their emotions. A lot of guys in the manosphere will say women run on pure emotion, and they can't
No.
help themselves when they see a very attractive tall man, they're gonna fall head over heels in love. No, I think that's true of men. I think men can't really handle or control their emotions. Women are very good at overriding any emotion that they feel, and they think pragmatically, they think long term, and they'll be thinking, okay, maybe this guy's handsome, but what does that mean down the road? So I think it's women that are actually very good at sort of overriding any instincts or emotions that they might feel at the moment, and they think very pragmatically.
I would agree. I think women are way smarter in a partner selection. Surely. Hardin, you.
Hmm.
So, Hardin, do know that you reached out to Mariah about the oofy doofy theory with your thoughts. So, I want to get your take.
On the oofy doofy theory.
Yeah, about everything that we just talked about, what your thoughts are.
See, well, okay. You do have a lot of guys in the black pill community who are Western expats who are living in places like Cambodia and Thailand and Vietnam and
Sexpats.
the Philippines. Sexpats, yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good term too. And most of those guys, I would say, in terms of their physical attributes, their facial aesthetics and their height, would fall into Dashwood's oofy doofy category. Yes, yeah, they're not handsome guys, but I would be willing to bet that these guys are all either rich or affluent, just based on the fact that when we're talking about geomaxing, right, we're talking about an extremely
Wait.
expensive
What
lifestyle.
maxing?
Extremely expensive lifestyle.
What did you say?
Ge-
Geomaxing?
Geomaxing, yeah, where you go to a third world country to find a pair bonding partner.
No, wait.
Yeah.
That doesn't have to take a lot of money, though. I know who you're talking about, the sorts of people. Where's that white noise coming from? Who is this?
I don't see anyone's thing lighting up.
Me neither. It's
Is it-
getting louder.
Is it?
I don't know.
What the fuck is that?
I hear your background music, but other than that, I'm not hearing anything.
What the hell? I know it's Discord.
Wait.
I just don't know who. Okay, I'm gonna change the region, I guess.
I'm saying
that fixed it.
Look.
Okay, hang on. Hold up.
Never afford.
No. Hang on. What I was gonna say before that weird noise interrupted us. So those sexpats, though, the reason they go to third world countries is precisely because they aren't really that rich. Because you don't have to be that rich in fucking Thailand, right? If you have $100, you're like a millionaire in that country, so you can just afford all of the child brides you want.
Well, you don't have to spend a lot of money to get a bitch out of a brothel. So
Right.
I will agree with you there. Yeah, but the thing is, most of the sexual tourists in places like Cambodia and the Philippines and whatnot are not really looking for that. they're looking for a wife. They're looking for someone to pair bond with and have children by.
Yeah, but dude,
And
those women, they are used to a different economy. Like to those ladies, a white guy from America, say, if he makes more than $15 a month, he's like rich to them. She's gonna think, oh, how lucky I am. I want to go. I want to go back to America. Marry him. Like, that's why they go there. That's why they have to scrape the bottom of the barrel, basically, to impress women who've never seen a Benji.
Well, that's my point. Yeah, I mean, so when you look at, just the cost of transportation fare getting to these countries, and then the cost once you find a girl to pair bond with of getting her a green card, a residency visa, and then transportation fare to get her to your home country, and then the cost of moving her possessions over, that is extraordinarily expensive, and that's an option that if you are a Melvin or an Urkel and you're poor, that option's not available to you. That's just reality.
Okay, I don't know. From my anecdotal viewing of 90 Day Fiancé, you don't really have to be rich in every case. I think some poor weirdos can also get women out of the third world.
We were also looking at the houses over there yesterday. Remember that? They're cheap, like like $10,000 over here. Even if you're like at poverty level, you can afford a $10,000 home.
If a guy is going to marry a girl in the Philippines or Cambodia or wherever and keep her there, not bring her back to America, but bringing her back to America or Australia or Britain, whatever country one is coming from, that is extraordinarily expensive. That's
if it's the price for love.
Let's bring it back real quick to the original question, though. So in America, let's say you're not dating overseas. You're not. Let's forego the mail order bride. Do you think in the countries that we live in, like first world countries, do you agree that women go for the schlubby fubby oofy doofies, or do you disagree?
So I don't disagree with Dashboard that there are some women who do go for guys that they know they can easily control. And the fact is, if you're Melvin or Urkel, and you get lucky and acquire a Stacy, you're not going to be inclined to want to let go of her, and you are going to be prone to extremely mangina level behavior. So yeah, those women do exist. I'm just not convinced that it's the mass social revolution movement that Dashboard thinks it is. I think it's maybe 15% of women, give or take.
15? That's an oddly specific number. Where the fuck did you get that from? Just a guess?
That's just my guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like, do you guys... Okay, don't give away too much information about you guys, and I don't want to make you, like, uncomfortable, but how old are the two of you?
I'm 34.
Okay. Hardin, are you...
48.
Okay, so are you guys aware of the...
I'm a proud member of the Gen X generation.
Gen X? Wait. I guess. I don't know about generations. I mean, I just turned 30 recently, so I'm very self-conscious about that. But are you guys aware of... I mean, how do you explain that women generally... You see groupies, right? With the K-pop, for example, you have, like, hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of young girls just ripping each other's limbs off at concerts with these guys, trying to fuck them, trying to get like 2 seconds of attention from these dudes. And those are very wealthy, very famous guys. Like, nobody is trampling each other over Melvin at work, the fat guy who draws a shitty salary.
One thing I want to correct you on Kaya. When we're talking about Melvin or Urkel, we're not talking about a fat guy in most cases. Because if you look at the Melvins and Urkels on YouTube that do black pill videos, well, I haven't seen any Melvins actually showing themselves on video, but there are a few Urkels. There are a few Urkels who do.
Okay, forgive my terminology. I'm just saying my point is, like, you don't see women going to concerts paying out the ass for tickets to watch those guys or anything. Like, the famous people are always the good-looking, attractive, rich people, right? It's not the oofy-doofy guys. Nobody's like... because of... I don't know how to explain this. I mean, there is no line in front of a man who is low value, physically, financially. Why would you draw the conclusion that women desire those men specifically? Especially like...
make the demarcation between... You have to make that distinction between, you know, girls going to a show, and for them, it's entertainment. They would not actually enter into a long-term relationship with these guys, and you know, you see the same thing elsewhere. Like, if it's like you know, just other venues, it's almost as if, like, you see girls going to Disneyland, they take that photo with, you know, the character in the costume, you know, Mickey Mouse or Goofy or Donald Duck. It's a spectacle for them. Being with such a guy would probably make them very uncomfortable deep down. They would feel inadequate. They would feel constantly insecure. They wouldn't trust this guy. And again, the K-pop thing's a bit different. It does kind of go in line with what I've been saying. These guys are definitely not masculine. Okay, it's a complete 180 from a few decades ago, where you had, you know, some big, tall, very masculine jack dude. If you take like the band Rammstein or something, you compare the dudes in that band,
good band,
to
by the way,
what is popular today.
Yeah, it's a degradation for sure. I'll agree with you on that there. Rammstein.
Yeah, I mean, it's a complete shift. These guys are definitely, I mean, and I don't deny K-pop is very popular amongst women of all races, black women, white women, and these guys are very effeminate, I mean, almost beyond androgynous, and
they are, they are.
You know, so they're very non-threatening. They're very, you know, very, very non-threatening, very non-masculine, and I think that is popular. Getting to, would women enter into a long-term relationship with them over just an average, you know, schlubby-hubby kind of oofy-doofy guy that, you know, is definitely not being lusted after? I would say not. I think it would make them uncomfortable deep down. They would think anytime that guy is on his own, that he's being hit up by other women, he's seeing other women on the side, and that's not conducive to a happiness in a relationship. If you're constantly paranoid, or you're thinking your partner is stepping out on you, that's not gonna go well for anybody in the relationship. So I think that line of reasoning is why women will, you know, they'll take a photo with, you know, Magic Mike at, you know, at the dance club or something. You know, he's got his shirt off or something. They'll take a photo, a selfie. Will they date him? Will they want to be in a relationship with him? No, I don't think so. I think not only will they be paranoid, they'll be feeling sort of inadequate about themselves. You know, if this guy has, you know, a fantastic gym body, she's going to feel a little self-conscious about herself. You know, any slight imperfections that she perceives in herself are going to become magnified in her own mind when, you know, compared to this Adonis that she's with. So I think those very high-tier so-called men, they're actually having a hard time when it comes to dating and relationships.
So do you think this is...
Dashboard, do you sound jealous when you talk about like this oofy doofy theory? Are you yourself like are you like a broke guy who's overweight and ugly? Is that who you are?
That's Brady, by the way, who just chimed in for no reason.
No, that honestly, it's like the opposite. If I were more in line with sort of what's having success, I wouldn't be in this predicament. At least I maintain.
So you get plenty of women, you say?
Oh, I don't. Not at all.
But, okay, so do you think this works both ways, by the way? Do you think men also settle for less attractive women that they think are A, easier to get, and B, they don't have to work as hard to defend. Basically, she's not gonna go out on me. She's not gonna cheat around.
I think to a lesser degree. I don't think men have that kind of foresight that women do. I think men sort of act on impulse and they act emotionally. If they see an attractive woman, for the most part, they don't try to rationalize things. Sometimes to a degree, if they find a very attractive woman, they could be intimidated. They could say, "Oh, she certainly has a partner already. She must have so many guys, interested in her. I have no shot." To a degree, it does work both ways, but I don't think nearly to the same degree as women do when it comes to sort of analyzing and thinking pragmatically.
Okay, so here's why I think this doesn't add up. So most guys are average by definition, right? I mean, all of us. You have people like Jeff Bezos, who's filthy rich. You have people, like actors who are very, very handsome. Those are they make up the top 0.1% of wealthy and good-looking, attractive people. The rest of us are pretty average. By this theory, then, shouldn't pretty much every guy have a woman willing to go for him? Because you have a lot of guys who work, maybe he's a security guard or something at a paper factory and he's just kind of fat and stupid, but he's lonely. Shouldn't he have a woman vying to be with him then?
No, because you have other things going on in society. Largely, you have way too many men. There's a big imbalance, especially amongst dating age people, prime age.
Too many men?
People, say early millennials, Zoomers. For a variety of reasons. You have, especially in the Western countries, the United States, Canada, Australia, you have a large imbalance in the sexes.
Wait, what do you mean imbalance?
Countries, India.
What do you mean
more
imbalance?
Men than women.
No, but there's more women on Earth. There's okay, but globally the population is 51% female.
It's only that number, that statistic is very misleading. It's only the elderly population because men die off at a younger age. So when you look at a population, you do have more women on average, but it's only the elderly women, the 85 plus, the 75 plus. When you look at young people, say under 30, 35, something like that, you have far more men than women. You have more men than women at birth. Okay,
so you're not into
every
gilfs.
100 women.
Okay.
For every 100 women, you have about 107 men being born. That's naturally. If you see at birth more than 107, what that tells you is that society is practicing sex-selective abortion. And you see that happening in countries, especially like India and China where they culturally have a preference for men over women. They want a male heir, not a female heir. So in those countries, they have probably about 35 million more men than women in India and in China. That's massive. Okay, that's 35 million men who have no prospect of finding a partner.
That is massive.
What do, these countries? They try to send their excess males for education and for work to Western countries. These Western countries are receiving the educated or tech workers from, India, from China. And so you look at the gender ratio in countries like the United States, the UK, Canada, and it's getting more and more skewed because of male immigration, not just from, say, the highly educated East, but then from countries like in the southern hemisphere, Mexico, South America. They come in as laborers, and that further skews the gender ratio in these countries, and that is making things much harder because it's basically a game of musical chairs. What you said, shouldn't every guy have a woman to pair up with?
Yeah.
In theory, it would be nice, but it's not working out like that, and that ratio is just going to keep getting worse and worse. And for a lot of men, that simply means mathematically there is no hope for these guys. It doesn't matter how good looking you are, how much money you have. Some guys are going to be drawing the short straw. They're not going to have a partner. There just aren't enough women.
Yeah, I did read this statistic once that all of us have, what was it, twice as many female ancestors as male, because so the way to think about it is every woman procreates, but not every guy does. Half of all men don't get to have children because women just don't select them to mate with. Right. So I guess what you're saying makes sense. How do you guys feel about the so not how do you feel, but in Japan they have this phenomenon now. Basically, to the men are not getting laid to the point that the government has to institute dating lessons in college. They call them hikikomoris, men who essentially just sit inside all day, play video games. Have you heard of this?
Hikikomori.
Hikikomori, yes.
Hikikomori?
I
Okay.
think so. Am I wrong? Am I saying a slur or something?
No, I thought it just was hikomori, but you could be correct.
No, it's the hikikomori. Yeah.
Oh, what the hell?
Let me put this on screen if I can. Whoops, that's not the link I wanted.
This
Whoops,
You learn
that's
a lot
not
of
the link I wanted.
you learn a lot of words in this live stream.
My bad.
But just
Uh,
for 2 cents, I thought in Japan. I
Also
thought
known
just
as
in general, the
acute,
younger-
so hikikomori, also known as acute social withdrawal, is a total withdrawal from society and seeking the extreme degrees of social isolation and confinement. Yeah. Have you guys heard of this?
Yeah, I've heard of it. I think
Hardin?
partly in Japan, what you have happening in Japan, they have a very aging population. So, they did not have much in the way of like a baby boom back in the 40s after the Second World War. And so people there opted for very few children, if any. And so at this point in Japanese society, you have a lot of elderly people and very few young people. And I think what happens, a lot of these young people, they sort of they withdraw from society. It gets to be very, very depressing, very oppressive when you go outside and everywhere around you it's a sea of elderly people. Um, and I think a lot of these young people in Japan, they sort of withdraw from a society that they don't fit in. They don't find it pleasant to be around other people. I mean, think about it. If you were living in an old folks home, in a senior retirement facility, it it would be a very kind of depressing air. Instead of seeing young people and babies everywhere, you're seeing nothing but elderly people in the twilight of their lives. For a lot of these people, I think they withdraw from society,
Yeah, it's a fucking
and they
bummer.
just kind of isolate themselves.
I want to get back real quick to, so we talked about female babies.
One thing, hold on.
Go ahead.
One thing you said, the government program in Japan is trying to sort of encourage guys and girls to meet each other in university.
Yeah.
I think that's healthy, because even in the West, up until recently, you had all types of social activities. It would be in America, it would be dances or formals or proms, things like that, where students would. They'd go get a date, or if they didn't have a date, they'd still fraternize, they'd socialize at these events. And, you can watch old television shows from the 1950s or 1960s in the United States, and you can kind of see how it wasn't necessarily the government, but you had institutions, whether the church, whether the schools, whether your extended family. They helped people eat, make acquaintances, make friends. And it was very conducive to finding a life partner. I think what people are starting to realize in the West is once you get past a certain age, once you're out of these special environments, high school or college, where you're not around a large density of young people of both sexes, and once you're out in the real world where the vast majority of people are way outside of your age range, they don't even meet the basic criteria for what you're looking for in a life partner, your life becomes suddenly very difficult. And these people, past a certain point, they have no options. They have to go on dating apps. There is no other way for them to even meet a prospective life partner past the age of, some people say it's high school. Because if you major in something that's very gender specific, if you're a female and you major in nursing, are you going to be meeting guys in college? If you're a man and you major in engineering in college, are you going to be meeting many females? No. So for a lot of people past the age of 18, they're kind of already screwed when it comes to finding a relationship.
Yeah. A quick correction. I was wrong. So apparently the dating classes were in South Korea, by the way. The mandatory dating classes.
I think China is doing that as well. China's doing that as well.
What the fuck?
Probably.
I
So
just
speaking
heard
of
Japan goes hard on the. Oh, just go.
So speaking of China, though, real quick again, Hardin, I know your point is always that from the times we've always talked, you say that women are valued more in our society. How do you explain or
In the West. In the West, yes.
okay, I was gonna say like how okay, so how do you feel about the ratio of abortions in say China, where and many other parts of the world, by the way, where female children are just exceptionally more likely to be aborted or valued less?
Um, well, there's evolutionary reasons for that because see, China up until very recently had a one child limit per married couple. Now they've changed that. I think because China, unlike the West, does value itself and wants to continue to be successful in the future as a society. So they are trying to deal with their demographic decline problem, and China does have a negative birth rate just like the West, but the difference there is they are trying to deal with it now. So I think they've increased it to
They
a limit of
yeah,
three children, three
yeah, they
children
recently
per
raised
married couple.
yeah, they got rid of the one child rule recently, very recently, a
Yeah,
couple of months ago. Yeah. But still, I mean, three children.
yeah,
So what would
but
happen though is because the Chinese would only have the right to have one child up until very recently, and they obviously wanted a
yeah.
male child,
So
so they would kill the female baby. So do you think that's still do you think women still enjoy the privilege in Chinese society or places like Saudi Arabia, or do you think those
generally
are
speaking, look, if I was emperor of the planet, women would have no fucking privilege at all.
Hey,
Zero.
what the hell? Not even me?
But
Wow.
but the in countries that have that do impose a limit, especially an extreme limit like China used to have a one child limit. That's insane. That's extreme. Yeah, generally you are going to have a disproportionate rate of abortion for female babies, and the reason being is because it's not just the men, it's the women too. You know, they're thinking about their future in their retirement years, and they know that a male child, it will be one that they can count on to take care of them in their retirement years, whereas with a female child, that's not a guarantee.
wait, why? Why can't the female you'd think that being a nurse for an elderly person would be a female occupation.
I know in China, for example, there are laws in place where where male children are can be held legally liable for the well-being of their parents
Oh, really?
when mom and dad reach the twilight years of their lives. Those same laws do not apply to women.
Is that a thing? You can be like sued if your mom's unhappy with you if she's old?
What the?
That's interesting.
That's my understanding. That's my understanding, based on articles I've read and people I've talked to on social media. People from these countries.
Chat person Crispy Fried Wontons is saying, wait, that's bullshit. He's lying. Avid Teamer says not like that. I don't know. That sounds interesting.
Dashboard. I have a question for you. And this goes to your oofy doofy theory. And this is one thing that you do have to admit does poke a hole in your theory. Now, I haven't seen any Melvins in Black Pill YouTube showing themselves on video, but there are a couple of Urkels. Okay, there are a couple of Urkels who do. One's name is Kent, and and the other's name is Emperor Dion. And and these guys are always complaining about not being able to acquire women. So how do you explain that?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, it's not just the physicality. It isn't just how these guys look. Like you said, he mentioned this guy Kent. You know, he's very slight of build, very diminutive, but he has a he has a very aggressive personality. Like if you watch his videos, he is not laid back. He is not easygoing. He's even like I think he got into professional wrestling. His
Oh, really?
personality.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Okay.
his personality is very I wouldn't call it masculine, but it's very abrasive, very domineering. He is not an oofy doofy in personality. Yeah, he's a small guy, but if you listen to his voice or what he says or his mannerisms, he's very aggressive, he's very combative, and those traits that's going to rule you out. Part of being, whatever that term we throw around it's just an easy catch-all term for, a certain type of guy, schlubby, hubby, oofy doofy. It's not just physically, okay, these guys are maybe average, they got a pot belly, they're short. No, 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 it's their personality. Are they very agreeable? Are they laid back? And for guys who have a mismatch maybe between how they look and then their personality, that's not going to work out for them. So, yeah, that's my explanation for those guys who maybe physically they're not too masculine, they're not too, their aesthetics aren't too good. You know, they have a
Is
personality problem. They're too combative, they're too strident,
what would your assessments be of yourselves, the both of you? Like, why do you think? What is it that you guys think you're missing for women not to go for you in favor of other people? If you were to be honest, like, especially you, like Alex, if you're saying that women don't, fame and money isn't necessary to get a woman, so then, do you think it's her personality?
Yeah, I mean, in a lot of ways, it certainly is my personality. I would say I'm too forceful in my opinions, too assertive, I wouldn't say domineering, but very forceful in what I say or my opinions. Disagreeable to a certain degree, sort of contrarian. I'm definitely not easygoing. I don't know if people can pick up on how I speak or whatever, but
Too
I'm not
cool.
too easygoing. I'm not. So that's yeah. My personality would definitely probably um,
Hardin?
strike women as repulsive. Well, repulsive for lack of a better word, definitely. Um,
Okay, repulsive is a strong word. Hardin, how about
it's a
you?
strong word, yeah, definitely.
Ashford, you do got me thinking there because I do agree with you on Kent. Yeah, Kent does have quite a dominating personality.
Can you
He does
guys
have a very
hang on? Sorry, but
he
can
does
you
have a very
guys
masculine.
real quick introduce Kent, because you guys are talking about somebody that most people listening do not know about.
Oh, he's I don't know. He's part of the Black Pill community, and he's an Urkel.
Okay,
That's all I can think
he's
of.
a
That's
YouTuber.
all I can think of.
Okay, he's a
That's all I can
YouTuber,
think
right?
of. Yep,
Okay, okay.
yep. And Dashboard, what you said about Kent, I would also apply to. I would also apply to the other Urkel that I mentioned earlier, Emperor Dion. He also has a very strong personality. He does. So he's low tier in terms of what women traditionally would get wet for. He's very slender. He doesn't have high tier facial aesthetics. Same, he doesn't have the rigid. he doesn't have the rigid rectangular shaped eyes and the perfectly square shaped hairline and the occipital bone and all that stuff. Same I'm same with Kent, but you are right though. Both of those guys, they do have very strong personalities. So you might have a point there. I got to give you that. You might have a point there.
Yeah.
And I think when it comes to having a strong personality, it's not just, like the manner in which you speak or if you have like a bass voice. It can manifest itself in other ways too. Like if you have, very strong passions, like interests, hobbies, like if you're like obsessed with working out or if you're a marathon runner or you're an artist or you're a musician, those are obsessions. I mean, for lack of a better word, if you're a very talented musician or even a scientist or something and you're very successful at what you do, that shows you have a very strong personality. You're addicted to certain things. You have
You have
basically
discipline.
an obsession for certain things.
Mm.
Well, in a sense, you don't have discipline because if you're obsessed with something, you really have no control over it. It's, whether you're addicted to drugs or cigarettes or working out or, excelling
Well,
at your
yeah, but there's
job.
like,
These are all
there's
addictions.
some addictions are better than others. I would say that being addicted
Sure,
to
yeah. I mean, it's a
working
spectrum.
out is better than heroin, right? But to get back though, hang
Sure,
on,
but I
Hardin,
think
you
what they have
kind
in
of
common. Well,
I was gonna say, Hardin, like you didn't answer. What do you think is your flaw that um turns off women? I suppose that
My
tarnishes your
flaw.
luck. I mean,
Well,
I'm not
well,
saying you have a flaw. I'm just saying, like, what do you think is the reason?
that's a complicated answer because it depends. It depends on which criteria we're going by. Are we going by dashboard's criteria, the oofy doofy theory, or are we going by
No,
the
by
standard
your own.
black pill
No, by
criteria?
your own, by your own. But what do you think in your heart of hearts? Like, what do you think is the reason that you don't get along with the female population?
Well, going by the standard black pill criteria, I think, I think I have reasonable facial aesthetics because I have gotten that opinion from a couple guys. Although
Facial?
wheat
Guys.
waffles,
Guys.
wheat waffles physical looks reviews for a fee. So I'm thinking
That's
about going on and paying him just to get his
that's another
opinion. But
incel YouTuber, right? I mean, a black pill YouTuber.
wheat
I
waffles,
apologize.
yeah.
I think I was looking.
Well,
I
okay,
found one,
Hardin.
but I
All
was
right,
looking at it.
so
But I know I've never gotten any negative comments on my facial aesthetics. So I
Wait.
think
From guys.
I think for me, it's probably, again, if we're going by the standard black pill criteria, it's probably my height. I think my height is probably what has caused me
how tall are you?
How tall are
difficulty
you?
in. I'm 5'7". I'm 5'7",
Whoa.
which
Short.
is
Okay.
which is
So
well,
you want to pay? Hold up, you want to pay a guy to rate your facial structure?
well,
much
wheat
does it
waffle.
cost?
Wheat waffle. What he does is he requires you to send a photo of yourself to him through Fiverr, and then yeah, he primarily focuses on facial aesthetics.
Wait,
Um,
see,
Wow.
he has a Fiverr rating people's faces?
Yeah.
That's
Mhm.
awesome.
Aren't you
Yeah.
straight?
How do I look this up? Do you know how to look it up? Because I want to see how much it costs.
Is it white
I think he
waffle or
charges
wheat waffle?
wheat waffles. I think he charges $25. But yeah, one of the black pillars on YouTube. I forget. Oh, I think it was Long Jaw Silver. That's his channel name. Long Jaw, as in your jaw. Long Jaw Silver. He said he made the argument in one of his videos that even if you do have a Chad or Tyrone tier face,
Twitch, can someone find
that
this
if-
Fiverr guy?
basically my height or below. His argument is if you're anything below 5'8", then you're basically just the king of the manlets.
Okay, so Hardin, I've seen a photo of you.
Because when you're talking 5'7", which that's my height, 5'7" and below, then you are below average height in our countries, in the
Well,
countries
Hardin,
that most of us all live in.
Hardin, aren't you straight? Shouldn't you start paying women to judge you? Hardin?
The thing is, you can't count on women to be honest.
Oh.
You can't count on them to be honest.
What do you mean?
That's
I
true.
thought women are like harsh beasts who fucking kill their men, and then they're like, "Oh, fuck you."
Yeah, wait. I mean, if
You know,
wouldn't she be brutally honest, especially if you're paying her? I mean, why would she hold back?
Why would you rather
Well,
pay a
Yeah,
man?
women love money. They'd do anything for a couple bucks, honestly.
Well, see, there's evolutionary reasons for women not to be honest with a guy because women have the same psychological programming as back in the caveman days. That hasn't changed. And see, back in the caveman days, it was extremely risky for a woman to say to a guy, "Oh, you a damn Melvin, or you're an Urkel. Fuck you. Yeah, you don't get me wet." I mean,
They
it
said
was
that in the caveman days, huh?
no, they wouldn't have because it was too risky for a woman's personal safety. It was too risky because
So you'd rather pay a guy $10 a month to tell you that you're short, but you have a good jawline?
It's so for I'm using a VPN. I don't know how. Hang on. So real quick, I found Wheat Waffles. Somebody sent the link in the Discord. Thank you. It says 100%. Hang on, Hardin. I will let you finish. Don't worry. Just I want to really show people real quick the Wheat Waffles page. 100% honest face rating, 100% privacy, full face analysis, flaws outlined, scientific measurements, hair, beard, posture, style maxing, clothes, short, mid, long term, before and after rating, other tips. Can I ask what this guy's qualifications are to rate other dudes? Do you know what this guy looks like?
Well, he's most likely going by that chart because there's a chart that shows the male face from top tier chat.
Yeah, okay, but I can also look at a chart that doesn't mean he has any place to tell people how attractive they are. Like, have you ever seen this man? Like,
he does not show himself on video, so no, I haven't.
See, I would be suspicious.
$5 to put your face over, like, half capacity over this image.
Well, he has different packages. I think his most expensive package is $25 or something like that.
You'd do it too, Bri, if you were 5'7".
I don't know, but I mean, if you want to get this done, I'll cover it for you, Hardin, on behalf of the Dr. Love Incorporated. I'll pay.
But what? Okay, Hardin, but what do you expect to be told? Because look, I have seen you. I've seen photos of you. You are not an ugly dude. What do you expect Wheat Waffles to tell you for your $25 or whatever it is? Like, what do you expect to get out of this?
Well, he would probably just my guess. He would probably say, "You've got decent facial aesthetics. Your issue is your hair loss. Your hair loss, because unfortunately, I was cursed with the genes for alopecia. So and
what is alopecia?
See,
What is that?
Balding.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
When a man starts going bald, the term for that is alopecia.
Okay, I didn't know that.
I mean, you're like 48 though. Have you always been balding, or like, I mean, that seems like a normal age to start balding at. I guess if you don't have a woman at the moment, it may be a bit difficult. So I kind of see that. But I mean, if you've always been balding, yeah, I kind of see. But I mean, if you just started past couple of years, I mean, you're kind of old.
It started in my early 30s, I think. It wasn't that noticeable then, but it did start then. It did start
So,
then. Yeah, I think age 31, 32 or something.
okay, how do you feel about? So,
But getting back to
go
Kaya's
ahead.
question, yeah, getting back to your question. So, if we were going to go by Dashboard's criteria, if we're going to go by his criteria, then I would have to say say what I've got going against me is probably my personality. Probably my personality. Yeah, because I definitely do not have an agreeable personality.
Well, okay, I would agree, but here's the thing, Hardin. So you and I have talked. You have some opinions that would strike most people as odd. You agree, right? Like, you have said in the past that, like, kicking a chicken is. You have said that, like, eating chicken is worse than raping a girl. That was one of your, like. But do you go around telling women this?
Taste.
Like, that's not what you would say on a date, right? Pardon?
On a date?
Well, I mean, okay, how?
It depends on where the conversation goes.
Okay,
where the
I mean,
conversation goes.
Okay, but so how honest are you about your opinion with women that you meet in day-to-day life?
The women that I talk to in day-to-day life, it's usually in a professional setting of some kind, so that doesn't come up.
So only talk to them when you have to.
Hang on, without don't give away too much, Hardin. Don't put yourself at risk. Can you briefly tell us what you do for a living? In a vague term.
I do photography.
Okay, so you're like a photographer.
But
again, I don't want you to.
I don't get consistent gigs all the time. So when I'm not doing that, I guess you could call me somewhat of a neat maxer. That's
okay.
I love the black pill community's knack for coming up with unique terms.
I like that too.
You should talk about why you believe in neat maxing, because you do make a compelling case for that, quite compelling.
And explain neat, what a neat is also for those who don't know, please.
I'll let Dashboard explain that.
Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, what you're seeing, I mean, you're sort of already seeing the consequences of a lot of guys dropping out of society. I don't know how it is abroad in other countries, but here in the United States, everywhere you see help wanted signs, you see like the supply chain interruptions, things not being stocked in stores. If you want to schedule like an oil change for your vehicle, you're having to get an appointment like 5 weeks out. If you're trying to get in for, to see a doctor or a dentist for something, it's weeks in advance. You're seeing a lot of interruptions, and they try to blame it on the pandemic. They try to say there are other reasons. People got money from the government not to work. They're lazy. And I think all of those explanations fall short, because even when they make changes, even when they lift the mask mandates, even when they lift other, things related to the pandemic, or some of these states, they stopped the federal assistance that every American who was unemployed as a result was receiving, and they thought suddenly all these all of these young people would suddenly start filling these empty job postings, and they haven't. And so they're kind of, you talk to people who are working, and they claim, oh, these young people are just lazy, they don't want to work. Well, I mean, what if for a lot of men, what if they really have no incentive, no motivation. If they're minimalist, they don't really desire much in the way of material stuff, or if they have no reason to acquire these things. It used to be, you had an incentive to get out on your own, have an apartment, have a car, so that you could go on a date, you could go hang out with friends and women. If you're sort of socially isolated, or you sort of have no hope of having a relationship with a woman, are you really going to participate in the economy, or are you just going to coast? Are you going to maybe live with your parents if you can, or are you going to just sort of drop out and take it easy? The idea that you're going to be a hard charging, you know, career focused guy, I think guys maybe either burn out if they do that, or maybe they have the foresight to sort of not go down that path to begin with. If you focus on education for years and years, you focus on your career, you're sort of doing that at the exclusion of finding a life partner. So you're going to work really hard, and in the end, you didn't really have don't have what you wanted. Maybe you have a lot of degrees, maybe you have some money, but at the end of the day, you're alone because you had maybe different priorities, or you moved around for education, for a new job. And if you're doing that, you're going to really kind of sever any social circle you had. And you're going to be left alone at the end of the day. Just one thing I did want to touch upon, you were talking about earlier, people rating other people's faces, getting paid to do so. I think what that's proof of is a lot of guys, they internalize what's going on. They put all of the blame on themselves. Their inability to get a relationship, they're blaming themselves. It's how they look, it's some deficit in their character, it's something they're doing. And when you see people willing to pay other men to rate their faces and assess them, that shows you there's this innate tendency for men to blame not society, but they blame themselves. They're saying, oh man, I'm ugly, I'm too short, I'm too this, I'm too that. And I think it's really harmful for a lot of guys. What's going on in society, by and large, is not your fault. If you have way more men than women, if you have gender division, which I think has been really building up over the last 10, 15 years. Men and women used to really get along. There used to be a lot of harmony between men and women, and you saw that in TV shows, movies, rom-com movies, um, music videos. Even the lyrical content of songs has changed so much from when I was like a preteen to what it is today. And so you have a lot of division between the sexes, and it comes in so many different ways. That's what makes it so hard to sort of isolate, because it's coming from every angle at the same time. Just one example: if you look at like true crime dramas, murder mysteries, things like that. It's like one of the most popular forms of entertainment for women. Like, women binge watch on Netflix true crime dramas, and you see things
All
in the
day
news.
long.
What was it?
All day long. Yeah.
Yeah, what was the most recent story? It was Brian
Gabby Petito.
Laundrie and the Gabby
Hmm.
Petito, and that was tens of millions of people see it. It's on their iPhone. They open it up. There's a news story. Her remains are found. Husband is accused of killing her and disposing of her body. What do you think that does to the minds of young women? They're being traumatized. Like, they have PTSD. They have the personality of like a rape victim or a rape survivor without ever having been raped, because they consume this stuff. They're being bombarded with this the news, with the true crime murder mysteries. And when they see that on a daily basis, that's not conducive to going out and trusting men. So you have a lot of factors going on, and that's what I want to sort of emphasize for a lot of
So,
guys. It's not your fault. It's more society. It's societal wide, and it's affecting a lot more people than you think.
are you saying that, like, is it similar to like how a lot of people don't like black people because you see a lot of black people on the news? Shooting
I
stuff?
don't want to go. I don't want to go there. I have some strong opinions that are
Oh, you
opposite
do.
of what you just said. Yeah, I don't want to risk your channel getting
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, if you can say it without using slurs, that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. I mean, like what you just said, I think it's the truth is 180 degrees away from that. I think, if anything,
Huh.
crime crime when committed by certain peoples doesn't make the news, and when it's committed by other people, it's played up, it's sensationalized, it's non-stop news. So You know, you can go all the way back. I just learned that in 1946, the New York Times stopped reporting on the race of suspects when a crime was committed. So I don't think what you said is true. If anything, I think it's the complete opposite. I think I don't want to, like I said, I'm trying to walk a tight line here because I don't want your channel to get nuked if I say something.
That's okay. I
Yeah.
think we get the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really didn't like when he said it's
What?
not the guy's fault, which just blame society. That sounds like a really bitchy cope.
But it is
yeah,
true. I mean, think about this. If you have way more men than women, is there really anything that can be done? If you have, this would be an extreme case, but if you have 2 or 3 times the number of men in a certain city, in a certain state, doesn't it make sense that even if every woman is paired up, you're going to have a lot of men who are deemed excess that simply have no hope?
Was it a
Mathematically,
ratio
it's not
issue, or
going
is
to
it
work
because
out.
you can't? Is it your personality? You're saying there's
Again,
too many men now?
if you have way more men than women because of immigration, because of different factors, doesn't that mean that some men are going to be left out? I mean, you think that
yeah.
there is a
Okay,
strict
so
hierarchy, that you're going to have a sort of matching, that the best guy is going to go with the best woman. I mean, it's, you know, real life is not a machine that sorts people into this perfectly matched situation. So you're going to have a lot of guys who, you know, they don't really have anything wrong with them, but they're just, you know, it's a game of musical chairs. You've got way more players than seats. You've got way more men than women. So, I mean, that
Well, I
is a
think if you
societal
show
problem.
up and try and prove yourself to a woman, you're gonna get her. It's not like it's purely that problem. I don't even think that really affects anyone.
I mean, do you think it is a problem that women are in this? Assuming that what you're saying is correct, then women would be like a trophy to be won, right? I mean, there's scarcity here, and only the top certain percent of men are ever gonna get laid. I mean, do you think
Oh,
every
no.
guy is
See, again,
entitled?
listen. No. See, what you just said, that I think that's conveying how a lot of men think. Men have this
Which part?
hierarchy mindset, and they think what you said, the top percent, the top 5%,
Yeah.
the top 10% of men are going to have success. I think that's really indicative of how a lot of men think. That's their psychology, that the world is a hierarchy, that it's a meritocracy. It's not. Like, the world isn't a giant sorting machine that's going to pair the top so-called, you know, in terms of, you can say education, money, height, whatever your criteria are with women. You know, the world doesn't work like that. It's not a perfect matchmaking machine. I don't think
I
there's
mean,
this hierarchy.
if you
I
just
don't think
put
there's
yourself
this
on the market, you're gonna
meritocracy.
get a girlfriend. I mean, you sound like a pussy joker. You're like, we live in a society where I can't get a girlfriend. Like, just
Again, I mean, on the one hand, you talk about systemic racism, but then when it comes to system-wide issues pertaining to other issues, not racism, but maybe a gender imbalance, you scoff at that. You say, no, you're just complaining. You got
But
tears going down your face.
Oh,
So why is it that society's to blame for some things, but not for others?
I just have I don't know if it's a one-off question or what, but like if
Hmm.
there was a woman who came up to you and she was like really fucking ugly though, would you try to do like take the chance with her, or are you would you have standards? Because you posted this earlier in your chat. It says, I will take any opportunity to talk to a woman. So I don't know, I'm just curious about this. I've been wondering about it since you posted that, and I just want to.
well, apparently he thinks
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
not that
no,
many women to talk to.
it's yeah, it's good. It's good that finally. Yeah, I was hoping that what's your name, Maria? I was hoping she was going to be on here.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I mean the guy like what Kaya. I mean, he
yeah,
seems like a cool dude. He seems pretty intelligent, well spoken. But yeah,
thank
I
you.
was like hoping I was going to talk more to a woman. So that's good that you're talking more. But
Oh, okay.
yeah, I mean,
So why?
yeah, I
So
mean
you want me to talk
if
more?
somebody, yeah, absolutely, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Sorry, the men always cut me off all the time.
Yeah, okay, you take it away. This is perfect because I have to pee anyway.
Oh
So,
shit.
Maria,
Okay.
take it
It's
away.
okay. There's less women because they don't have much to say anyway. So go
Are you
on.
getting a little nervous over there, Alex?
Oh no, I just. He's like, I'm gonna step out. I gotta take a piss. All right,
Yeah.
you fill the spot for me.
Yeah, finally, the woman can have her 15 minutes of fame real quick. All right, awesome. Yeah, well,
I
that's
hope
really the
not.
main question I had, because I don't know. I was just curious though. If an ugly fucking woman though, she like gave her all to you, would you take her? Like,
Well, I mean, when you say take her, again, that's not the way I think. I talk to anybody. I mean, especially if it's a woman. I mean, if it's some woman maybe around my age that I have something in common with, sure. I'm not looking. Again, there's this conception or misconception that guys who are incel, they're just looking for sex. No, I mean, I do believe people need to start off sort of as friends, as acquaintances. You need to build that up.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, that's how they used to meet a partner through school. You didn't start off, hey, would you go out on a date with me? You knew somebody by name,
Mm-hmm.
you knew their age, you knew their personality from when they would raise their hand in class, or you'd work on a project in your class. You'd study together. And so you got to know somebody, and then you could elect to take it to the next step, start spending additional time together.
So
This
I saw
idea
in
of just
chat.
putting the
I saw in chat someone said you're 300 pounds and 6'2" with like 5% or like a lot of fat on you. True.
No, dude, you got a lot of trolls on your channel. They just say crazy shit.
So what are you like?
They
Can
say
you
crazy.
describe yourself? Do you show yourself? Do you want to show us a picture?
Oh, no, that's another thing that
All right.
yeah, so not only do I not keep my videos up, I take them down right away. I do remain anonymous, I guess you could
Anonymous.
say. Yeah,
I know
I
that
just
feeling.
do strictly audio.
But what do you look like? Are you good looking? Bad looking?
I think I'm a pretty handsome, well-built dude. Spent a
You
lot of
sketch
time in
yourself
the
Yeah, you
out.
gym.
said your
Oh,
problem
just
is your
kidding.
personality, you said, right? You think.
Well, it's getting back to what I said earlier. Like, if you can convey a very masculine personality in a lot of ways. If you're very no, people will say, "Oh, how can an artist, how can a musician be masculine?" But if you have real competency, if you're sort of just think of like writers or poets throughout history. I think if you had the same people transported to the modern day, you would also have this problem. I think it sort of represents a distraction to most women. Most women, I do believe, want a guy who sort of orients and revolves his whole life around the woman. The woman wants to be at the center. If you've got as a guy all of these other things going on that are a time suck for what you're doing, like you're in the gym constantly working out, you're writing your sonnets, you're writing your ballads. That's to a woman that represents kind of a turnoff, a very strong turnoff, because he's not putting the woman at the center of his existence. So I think when we're getting back to oofy doofy guys, it's their personality. They don't have a strong personality. They don't have much going on in their lives in terms of career, in terms of hobbies. Like for a lot of these dudes who have a pretty attractive wife or girlfriend, like for them it's like sitting in front of the TV watching a sports game. They're not successful in terms of not just career, but other hobbies. They are not particularly well informed, particularly well educated, even autodidactically. They're not self learning. They're just kind of a passive,
But don't you think,
unassertive guy.
but growing up, so as a guy, when you grow up, people generally tell you society or, the culture, what you absorb by osmosis almost is, act a little aloof to the woman. Don't act like she's your entire existence. Don't let her know that you only
Oh yeah,
exist to serve her. Otherwise, she's gonna get bored of
yeah. A
you.
lot of
That's
these
not what
guys,
women into.
a
So
lot of these
doesn't that
guys,
contradict what you just said?
a
That
lot of
women don't want somebody
there
who
are a lot of
makes
guys out there. Yeah,
yeah.
there are a lot of guys on YouTube, most of these channels, and the ones that have the most subscribers, unfortunately, they say exactly what you just said. They tell guys focus
PUAs.
on other things. Yeah, PUAs, red
PUA.
pill
Yeah.
people.
PUA.
You PUA,
Uh,
pickup artistry. You've got a lot of
Pickup
these big
artist.
channels.
Okay.
okay.
There are these guys with hundreds of thousands of subscribers on YouTube. Their videos get
Oh
millions of
yes.
views. And unfortunately, they say exactly what you said. They tell guys, don't prioritize women, focus on your education, focus on
I
your
don't like those
career. It's
guys
bad
either, by the way.
advice.
No, look, we don't have to talk about
Yeah.
PUAs, pickup
The life
artists.
coaches,
Yeah, they're
influencers, the
cringe.
social, yeah.
It's a scam. It's always, hey, give me $20 and I'll
Misinformation.
tell you how to be a millionaire. Is okay. You're a
These are
grifter.
misinformation artists. Spreading
Yeah.
misinformation. Like if you follow their advice as a guy, you are going to end up alone and miserable.
I agree.
It's a
I
recipe
agree.
for disaster. Don't listen to these guys.
Yeah, I would also agree with
Uh,
that. Sorry, Hardin. Real
yeah.
quick, could you guys tell me who Steve Hoka is, and apparently he would like to join.
Oh yeah, wait. What?
Does he have
I
a
don't
Discord
think it's gonna
account?
be the real Steve Hoka. I don't
No?
think so.
Okay.
Steve Hoka was a YouTuber who was around from like the late 2000s to a couple years ago. And he was like one of the major originators of the TFL philosophy, talking about true force loneliness. And so he was talking about these issues way before anybody in this chat was out there. So I'd be careful. I think it's a troll. He's been missing in action
Okay.
for a couple years.
Let's.
He's like
All right.
49, I think, 50.
Okay, let's put a pin in the Steve Hoka thing. We have a viewer who would like to talk to you if I can find her. Her name is Hannah. Where's she? Okay. Hannah, you're unmuted. Hello? Please speak. Okay, I guess she doesn't want to talk. You're muted, Hannah. Sort it out. Until she does...
Dashboard.
Go ahead.
Quick question. So if someone like, say, Isaac Newton was transported into modern time, do you believe that he would be living incel?
Isaac Newton was an incel in a... Yeah.
His own day. Well, in his own day, it was by his own volition. He was, I think the term would be today, like asexual. I'm pretty sure most historical accounts say he never dated, he never married, he definitely didn't
Oh, really?
reproduce.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
wait, do you
the
not
same
know?
thing is true, like you can read
Hardin...
accounts.
Isaac Newton was an incel. He never had sex, he never dated, he was shut in, and he basically developed some mathematical theories, and he also thought that angels carry planets across the sky.
I doubt he believed that. No, he was a hardcore scientist. No, I doubt he believed in imaginary sky wizards.
Oh, not the sky wizards. Oh wait, I forgot you're Muslim now, Hardin.
Yeah, you are Muslim.
I mean, sorry, you're Jewish, Muslim. I forgot which one he is.
You know, powerful men can be losers too, Hardin.
Yes, like Kaya, Brady. No, just kidding.
I want to add on quickly to Dashboard's point about the psychological program and creating rancor between men and women. That is nothing new, because I remember growing up in the late 80s and all throughout the 90s, you would see lots of these stupid public service ads geared toward women, talking about how to be safe on a date when meeting a guy for the first time.
Yeah, who needs that?
Transport yourself. Don't rely on him for transportation. Use your own vehicle. And
yeah, those make it really hard on you.
And make sure that friends and relatives know where you are. So you see the message that's sending.
I think that's for kind of everyone, though. I mean, and also it's a fact that women are like genetically not as tough as men anyway. So I mean,
not physically.
I would see, or yeah, that's what I mean.
But mentally, they definitely are tougher, in my opinion. That's
but
okay.
Yeah,
Hardin, don't
have to do this stuff.
Hardin, do you think there are any women out there who have to pay another woman to rate their appearance? Or
no.
Because my issue is that, like
No.
Dashboard said, we guys sometimes we make our own appearance our own problem, right? We get these ideas in our head, like, oh, I must be looking wrong. Maybe I'm looking goofy. Everybody's staring at me. When in reality, of course, nobody is staring at you, right? You go through daily life, you feel self-conscious until you stop to think logically. And logically thinking, everybody is too busy with their own lives to even notice you.
Because the difference is women will be honest with each other, but a woman is not going to be honest with a guy for evolutionary reasons.
Wait, what evolutionary reasons would she not be honest for?
Well, because if you think of life back in the caveman era, where men had unnaturally high levels of testosterone, levels of testosterone that in modern time is really only possible with injections. So
Oh.
men had extremely volatile tempers in that era of time. So if a woman was to actually be honest with a guy trying to court her, and say, "Oh, you've got a poorly shaped occipital bone. You're balding. You're short.
But hold up.
Get out of here.
What is the
Get out of here.
occipital bone?
You make
Yeah.
me as dry as the Sahara Desert."
Is that what
You know,
someone said to you before? It sounds like your issues with the balding.
Uh, my point is, if a woman was to be honest with a guy, back in that era of time,
What? What?
she
Wait.
ran the she ran the risk of getting beat down, of getting a savage level
Yeah.
beating.
Okay, Hardin, hang on. The occipital bone is the lower back of your head? Is this correct?
It's the lower part of the head. It's where the spinal cord passes.
Okay, but why would a woman give a shit about the lower part of the back of your head? I'm so... Wait, this
That's
is...
what
I'm...
gives you the peanut head.
Hang on, no, I would like to give Hardin a chance to explain. Why would a woman care about this?
That's just an example I was throwing out there. There's a lot of things that go into facial aesthetics. The occipital bone is one. Your cheekbones is one.
Yeah, but your occipital
hairline
bone
is one.
isn't... Hang on, Hardin. The occipital bone isn't even in your face. It's in the back of your head. Like, for 99% of the population, it's not even visible. That's like where your hair is. Obscured.
It's also the base of your skull.
Yeah, but that's not... Okay, dear caller, lady, no guy ever
sounds
looks at a
like
woman. No woman ever looks at a guy like, oh, I like
It
the
is.
base of
Hard.
his skull. Right? Am I the crazy one? Who notices this? Who knows what the fuck the occipital bone is?
Occipital.
Yeah,
Whatever.
Kaya, yours is pretty fucked up looking. That's why you haven't said anything, dude.
Yeah, we didn't want to mention it, but it's pretty ugly.
Whatever.
Okay, wait. So Hardin thinks MGTOW's not real. Short and simple. What do you think about that, Alex? Is he even in here? Because he says it's not real. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Hardin's like, yeah, it's not voluntary because they can't get any women. Like, so that's not voluntary.
I think it's a coping mechanism for a lot of these guys. I think it's people say there is no MGTOW, it's MISTOW. Men sent their own way. I think it's it's like a strong man. It's a strong man narrative
absolutely.
that guys put on as like a cope or as a defense mechanism. To
so
kind of,
in my what I
they
usually
don't-
say,
Go ahead.
sorry, what I usually say is that MGTOW, their incels want to pretend that being an incel was their choice. Like, oh, I didn't want to fuck women anyway, right?
There are some legitimate MGTOW guys. I just think that tragically they're a minority of a percentage of the guys who identify as MGTOW. So that's what takes away from MGTOW's credibility. But there are some. There are some. So what? When we talk about a true MGTOW guy, a legitimate MGTOW guy, that would be a guy who has no difficulty acquiring women. He just chooses. He's just genuinely choosing not to cohabitate or get married or anything like that because he's aware of the anti-male laws. He he knows
I
he
I
knows that he
I don't buy that, man.
he
I don't think
he
there are many men out there who genuinely just want to be with a woman, but they choose not to because they think that theoretically, if she ever was to divorce me, I'd get a bad deal. I don't think there's that many women out there who believe that.
but that's true though. Yeah, not just divorce, but if you have a child with her, there's the issue of child custody because women get sole custody 90% of the time. The guy, if he's lucky, gets to see the child 2 weekends a month. There's all those kinds of issues, and yeah, there are genuine MGTOW guys who are aware of those issues, and so they'll get vasectomies or do whatever they have to do to avoid getting a woman pregnant because they don't want to deal with those issues. They don't want to be in a position where they're not even able to be a father to their child because his ex bitch it won't let him be, and the courts will back that up 100% of the time.
I would agree is the wrong word, but I would say that I also don't like how the court system works. I think children deserve both a mother and a father. I grew up without a father. I think that was bad for me. I think it was unfair. I think every child deserves a father and a mother. They should both be there. It shouldn't be up to a court. Men should not abandon their children and everything. I want to real quick go back to what Dashboard said, though, Alex. You said that it's men blame themselves too much and that it's not necessarily their fault because, there's more men than women. And men blame themselves for their physical faults, sometimes too much, their heights, their facial structure. But us men, we also judge women a lot for their physical appearance, right? Like Hardin, I mean, you are into feet. This has been one of our longest standing contentions, right? You like
stairwells.
feet. You like feet for whatever fucking reason, and you judge me because I like ass. I feel like, first of all, I feel like I'm right, but also, don't you judge a woman's feet physically? I mean, you do just as much physical discrimination, right? You wouldn't fuck a girl with ugly feet.
Just that one aspect of her. No, men mainly judge women by their body shape. Does she have a healthy body shape? Would her uterus be a healthy environment for a baby to gestate in for 9 months?
Yeah, and women judge men the same way. Women judge men, they look at us, they say, oh, he's a fat fuck. Gross genes. I don't want to procreate with this fat, obese, gross, unhealthy guy. That's going to make for a bad husband. He's not going to provide for me or protect me or be a good father. So doesn't it go both ways?
Not really, because okay, see, the reason why I cited the two Urkels on YouTube, Kent and Emperor Dion, and I'm not citing any Melvins because there are no Melvins that I can think of on YouTube who show themselves on video, so I can't 100% verify that they're Melvins because none of them show themselves at all on video at all. But if we look at guys like Emperor Dion and Kent, these guys are in good shape. They're not overweight. Now Dashboard argues that their problem is their personalities are too strong. Maybe so. Maybe so. I contend that well, it just depends on which criteria we're going by. If we're going to go by Dashboard's criteria, then then their problem is that they're not agreeable. They have highly masculine personalities. If we go by the standard black pill criteria, then then you would say that it's because Kent is short, because Kent, I believe, is 5'4" or 5'4", something like that.
Mm.
And he doesn't have high tier apex facial aesthetics. Same with Emperor Dion. You look at Emperor Dion, just like Kent, he shows himself in his videos, and you look at his face. He doesn't have a high tier, masculine level face.
I have a question for Alex on that topic, if that's okay.
Yes, this
Go
is
ahead.
caller Elisa. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I think that what you were saying about men, about how they need to be more less agreeable and less putting more the woman at the circle of his life. I would have to say that I really do disagree with that. I like when a guy is super passionate and like super into something and like shows that education and that passion to like facilitate a lot of knowledge and showcase that. What do you think?
I would say you like the idea of it more than you'd actually like it, because what happens when a situation arises and that guy has to make a choice between attending, like, say, a conference and being with you, or being with you and your family around the holidays and going to do something related to his profession, or maybe he's got a gig, like he's a musician and he's got to get, he plays guitar, he's got a gig lined up to play a show, but he's got to make that decision. Is he going to be with, you, his girlfriend, his wife, fiance, whatever, over the holidays, do something with you, or is he going to go with his bandmates, or whatever the situation is? He's got an art exhibit at the gallery, just something that conveys, his passion, his, art, or whatever, his success as a guy. And it's gonna, you're gonna feel really down in the dumps probably if that guy is, doing his thing. He
Why
has
would I
different
feel
priorities
bad
in life.
about a man being passionate and having aspirations, though?
You don't
Why would I
have a
be so
man.
shallow?
You
I don't
don't
have a
have a
man?
man. No, if he's doing his gallery thing or his show, he's not with you, say, over the holidays. You really don't have a man. You're not spending time together. You're not together when you ought to be. So I think maybe some women like the idea of it, but quickly they realize, what that means in reality. It's not a good thing. They want somebody who really does. They have passion, but they have passion for the woman. She's basically
Why
the
would I want
biggest,
someone to be
largest,
obsessed
best
with
thing
me?
in his life.
Why would I
No,
want
yeah,
Because
someone
that's
to
what
not?
love is.
I can
Mutual
see why
obsession.
somebody,
Mutual obsession.
anybody,
Is it not?
yeah, you might want somebody to be obsessed with you, but Alex, wouldn't a woman also enjoy the company of a man who, like, he gives her attention only selectively? Like, scarcity creates value, right? So if she only gets his attention rarely, she would value it more. I think that's what the PUAs would say.
No.
And
No, that's not. If you're with somebody that you genuinely love, or that you have a deep connection with, you want to spend time with them, pretty much as much time as you can. This idea of like portioning it out, or making allocations of attention, no, like that's not healthy. That's not normal. If you truly enjoy spending time with each other, you're going to be happy going to the grocery store together. You're going to be happy driving around in your
No,
car.
I disagree.
Disagree? All right.
I would also have to mildly disagree, because you will get easily sick of each other if you're together all the time. You do need alone time, right? Don't you?
Yes,
Don't you guys?
exactly. Or you
Alex and
become
Hardin.
codependent on each other.
Yeah, you
Disagree.
like.
A codependency is a psychological term that pathologizes healthy relationships.
It is not
So
pathology.
codependency
It is a pathology. You
does it.
should be your own independent person and love each other
So I
independently.
disagree. You need to grow together.
Well, enjoy having
You need to
unhealthy
grow for
relationships.
disagree. A healthy relationship is by nature codependent. You do need to be able to count on and to depend
Why?
on one another. Because that's the definition of a relationship. You need to grow
That's the
together.
definition?
This idea,
What is a
I think so. A
definition?
healthy
Romantically.
relationship is one where people can depend on one another and they can grow together. They
You can
share
depend
common
on someone without
experiences.
going to them everywhere. I don't have to go to the bathroom with my boyfriend for us to be dependent on each other.
Oh no, that's you're taking it to absurd lengths there. I mean that's truly being silly. But this idea, when you use the term like a psychobabble term like codependent, that is pathologizing what used to be healthy relationships. And
I don't think it's
now,
pathologizing at all.
so
My
the,
roommate just got cheated on. She's completely lost who she is. She doesn't know who she is anymore just because she spent every waking second, you know, with her boyfriend. And I think that that's unhealthy if leaving that person leaves you in such a state that you're, just completely broken after this person is gone.
Your
That's
roommate
not
was cheated on?
pathologizing, that's reality.
you're seeing
Wait, wait.
you're using codependency then as like a protective mechanism to anticipate sabotage or to anticipate the failure of that relationship. That's not healthy. You're always living with that idea that, hey, this is not going to work out. This guy could
Or
cheat on me. He could leave
or
me. He could abuse
trust.
me.
There's trust.
Yeah,
Hang on.
And
lack of
with
trust.
that, codependency becomes abolished.
Okay, hang on. Hardin, what do you think?
If there is a lack of trust, then codependency is abolished. Yeah, I see that. Yes, I agree with that. So, in a healthy relationship where there is complete trust, and I do think both people should depend on each other, and that classification of codependency being toxic, and I've encountered this myself. Girls who have said, when they're analyzing a relationship and they think, codependency is bad. I disagree. I do think a lot of these terms that have entered our lexicon, they are destructive and they are intentionally destructive. I've talked about the division between men and women coming from all of these different sources. When you try to say each person needs to be their own autonomous person, do their own thing, and
Right.
hey, maybe we have date night once a week or twice a week, or maybe it's more than that. But still, I think if you're not completely intermingling and intermeshing yourselves, you're dooming that relationship from the onset.
That's sick.
If you're going,
I think that's sick. I
okay,
think
so when
you're
you see,
just spewing a bunch of bullshit. You've never been or ever seen it firsthand. I was in a relationship where I completely was intermeshed with my person and they left me out to rot. So why
it
would
was
that be
with the wrong person.
pathologizing it?
It was with the wrong
Okay,
person.
so
I
let's
mean,
just leave it up to everyone else to pick the exact right person for them. How is that going to work? Did you know
I'm
the
saying, I
divorce
mean, if
rate
you,
in America? It's almost 60-70%. So
yeah, they
we're
chose
we're
the
having
wrong
an
person.
epidemic.
Let me ask you,
And
if you had,
70%
listen, no,
initiated
let me
by
finish.
women.
No, let me finish. If you had a choice between, again, you're going into it and you're not fully committing, and that could be both people that they're too wary of each other. I mean, how can you have an intimate relationship when you're not fully trusting the other person? And I mean, from what you said, it is. I mean, it's terrible that you committed yourself and you got hurt, and now what you see happening is you're not going to trust other guys. You're
Hang
not
on. Can
fully going to
we?
trust another man because of what happened to you, and all of this dysfunction is sort of ricocheting around society, and it's having catastrophic effects where men and women are not trusting each other. They're almost regarding each other as the enemy, and it's like they're locked in this kind of struggle. How do you, on the one hand, enter into an intimate personal relationship with somebody, and then on the other hand, you're harboring all of these thoughts that either you've been wronged from your own experiences, you're jaded, you've had bad experiences, you've got
Oh, I'm
media, you've
jaded.
got all.
Hang
Men
on.
are too. Men are
Elisa.
too. But
Okay.
I'm saying, yeah,
Sorry.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Hardin, I just heard you. What is your take on this? I would like to give you a chance to chime in here.
Well, I'd like to hear Hannah elaborate. You said you said your ex-boyfriend hung you out to dry. How so?
Yes. Okay, I can elaborate. you know, he said to me straight up, you know, I'm not gonna marry you, you know, after dating me for 3 years. He said, he said, we're not getting married, you know. I was like, all right. Okay, you don't have to laugh that hard, Kaya. Anyway, Jesus Christ. Fuck you, bitch.
Sorry. So, go ahead.
So in a way, he just wanted, you know, sexual favors from me without having to, you know, promise anything in return. And that, you know, I was devastated by that. And, you know, I had that codependency, which I do not find that pathologizing. I think it's not as if you're preparing for them to be away from you, it's that it's healthier. It's healthier to be your own independent person, because if you don't have yourself to love, you can never love another. And I think that's the most important thing you should.
What did your ex look like?
He was definitely your version of a Chad. Would stare at himself in the mirror, would flex his pecs, make it like bounce up and down. Very narcissistic.
Oh, so he was.
But isn't that the definition of self-love?
top-tier guy.
You're saying that you have to love yourself. I mean, isn't that the definition of narcissism, though? I mean, if you are professing that you need
Yes.
to love yourself, put yourself forward, isn't that being a narcissist?
You can't love others until you love and respect yourself. You can't love them.
Again, I think
truly.
that's psychobabble. I really do. I think it is psychobabble. I think.
Well, I have a psych
destructive
minor,
to-
so maybe that's what's it's stemming from.
Yeah, and don't you see that all of these things that you study, what do they have in common? They sort of dehumanize the human experience. I mean, that's, you know, they break it down to operant conditioning. They break it down to, you know, very sort of low-level things about, you know, and they reclassify. I mean, if you look at Western civilization 100 or 150 years ago in the Romantic era, the Victorian era, like this idea that men and women need to keep apart and maintain their separate identities. And again, it's not sexist that men are able to have their own identity but not women. No, I mean, if you look at any of these romance novels, you know, going from Jane Austen all the way, you know, just all the way back,
Have you read
always
Pride and
about-
Prejudice?
I have, absolutely, yeah. I mean, the first line, it is a truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a wife.
All right.
And what is
You're
that?
well read.
That's not, well, she's not literal. The first line in that book is being, it's sarcasm.
It
She
is.
does
That's
not
why
mean that
Jane
literally.
Austen's one of my favorite authors.
And in the end, I mean, the whole idea, it's Mr. Darcy and what, Elizabeth Bennet, right?
Elizabeth,
Is it
yes,
Elizabeth,
correct.
or is that her? Okay. She has misconceptions about the guy. She thinks he's an self-conceited asshole, right? And then in the end, it turns out that she was wrong about him. Like, he actually, he saved her sister when she fell for that guy in the British Army or whatever, and right, like he did all these things behind the scenes to sort of help out her family. So in the end, it turns out that she was completely wrong. She thought he was like a conceited jerk.
You have
And in the end,
misunderstood
they
the
ended-
entirety of the book. The
No,
entirety of
how
it.
so? How so?
If you think that that is the reason why she was misconstrued, then I doubt you completely understood it from the lens of a woman. Instead, you looked at it in your own lens.
No, the whole
Okay,
premise of the book was that Elizabeth thinks Mr. Darcy is stuck up, he's aloof, he thinks he's too good for her, on and on and on. When in
And
fact,
she's
he was just
prejudice
kind
as
of-
well. No, she's prejudice. He's pride. He's prideful.
Oh,
she has prejudice.
No, she believes that he's too proud. And in fact, he wasn't. I mean, that was the whole.
And that
premise,
was her prejudice.
She thinks that he. Yeah, but it was
Okay,
wrongfully
let's
found
try
that
not to
he
turn
was
this
not
into
proud.
a book club. This is not very entertaining for anybody listening.
A literature.
I could go on about
No, I get
the
you.
intricacies of Austen for a while.
I know you could, but that's
He
not
can
that fun.
mansplain all he wants, but
Yeah, but you've
okay,
probably
Han.
never heard anybody mansplain about Pride and Prejudice. That's a new one.
Go
I
ahead,
mean,
Hardin.
anything's possible apparently with you, Alex.
Okay, let Hardin speak, please.
Anna, I got a quick question for you. So if your ex had been a Melvin, would you?
Actually, my ex was a Melvin. Well, an Urkel, actually.
Hold on. You said before that he was a Chad. So which is it?
Well, I dated a Chad, then I dated an Urkel for 2 years apart.
Okay.
And the
Chad
Urkel
guy.
had to pay for everything. I paid for everything. I paid for his groceries.
Okay, so caller here.
I'm one of your
Okay,
outliers,
so I mean,
Hardin.
doesn't that fly in the face of conventional like manosphere stuff? They'd say, oh, the guy who's less attractive would be paying for everything, but here you just disclose that no, you actually paid for everything with
Yeah.
you deemed to be the less attractive guy. So, I mean, can you explain that? Because
No.
according to
The only reason why I broke up with him was because he remained at my house without paying any rent for 6 months and then bailed. God damn it, Kaya. Then he bailed on my rent when we moved, so I had to pay a full rent of $800 when he didn't split it with
Holy
me.
shit!
That's the reason why we broke up. Kaya.
Let me ask you about the previous guy, the guy that you were with before. You said that he didn't want to marry you. How do you know that? Like you said that he viewed you just as a source to obtain sexual favors from.
He had
But
sex
how
with
do you
me the
know-
night we broke up after he dumped me, but then said, "But I still want to have sex with you." So.
Okay, I mean, so he did literally say that because I was gonna say.
Wait, hold up.
the
Is
fact
this
that
a
he
Melvin?
didn't want to marry you? Could it have been? No,
This is the Chad.
The first guy. But I was gonna say, if he refused or didn't want to get married, could it have been that, he was having his doubts? Like maybe he thought you just wanted to get married for the sake of getting married, and maybe he thought like, you weren't really in love with him. Maybe, I mean, I don't want to defend some strange, some guy I never met or
Well, I
whatever,
made him
but
plenty
the
of
fact that you-
sandwiches. I don't know why he would get that idea.
I mean, when you
Okay.
say something like that, I think you're trolling. When you say like you made plenty of sandwiches, I mean that's trolling.
I mean, there's always room for humor, but I loved him deeply, and he really broke my heart, and
Okay. So
I didn't
that
mean to
brings-
be ingenuous. Go ahead.
Go.
Hardin.
That brings me back to my question. So if he had not been a Chad, if he had been a Melvin, would you be taking it? Would you be taking it hard? Would you be taking the breakup hard? Would you still be taking it hard like you are now?
I mean, I don't know.
Okay,
I think I'm more of
Lisa,
a
dear caller, is it okay if I? So you do have
laugh
a
at me some more?
history.
Go ahead.
No, not laugh. No, I would never do that. But you have dated in the past a homosexual man, right?
Excuse me?
Well, you dated a gay dude, a Melvin, an Urkel.
Yeah.
You don't want to talk about. It's okay if you don't want to talk about that.
I don't want to say I turned a guy gay. That's
Okay,
no
fair
girl
enough.
wants to
That's
do
okay. All right. I'll say this: if you're listening on Twitch, join the Discord, and maybe we can take your call. Let me know. Tag me in the Discord if you would like to talk to either Alex or Hardin. Hardin, I do want to go back again and again. Because this is my hang-up. You seem to have this idea that women judge men on their looks, but men don't judge women. I feel like that's my issue.
I never said that.
Okay.
That. No.
Okay.
Men and women have different criteria for how each gender judges each other. Men judge a woman primarily on her body shape. So for example, Rumor Willis, the daughter of A-list actor Bruce Willis, she has a man's face. If you look at pictures of Rumor Willis, she has a man's face. She does not have a feminine face. But
Rumor
but
Millis?
because rumor, are you like the word rumor? That actually is how her name is spelled.
Oh,
It is how
who
her
the
name
fuck is
spelled.
this? I don't even know. I've never heard of this person. Who is this?
Yeah, she's the daughter of A-list actor Bruce Willis.
Oh!
And
Yeah, she has a huge jaw. Fair enough. But you can still tell that she's
Yeah,
very
she-
obviously a woman.
Yeah, she has a masculine face. She does not have a feminine face at all. But she has a nice body. She has a very good body shape. So she would I can assure you, have no shortage of men lining up to fuck her.
Do you want to fuck her?
Oh, I wouldn't turn her away.
Okay.
Hell no. But but women see women from what the evidence shows, and this is what the black pill community talks about is there and there's evolutionary reasons for it, are judging a man primarily on his facial aesthetics. So that's why Face and LMS, for example, that's why he named his channel that, Face and LMS.
Right, so
And
Face and
he spends a lot of
LMS,
time
by
talking
the
about
way, for
facial
those who don't
aesthetic.
know him, he's a YouTuber and LMS stands for, so it's Face and Looks Money Status.
Looks money status, yes.
Okay. So you would
Yeah.
fuck, what's her name again? Oh, Rumor Millis, which is a really dumb name.
Yeah, women judge men primarily by facial aesthetics and height, and I think it's a toss-up, which is the most important, because like I mentioned before, the guy on YouTube, Long Jaw Silver, said if you have a Chad face, but if you're short, you're just the king of the manlets. And I think we can make a case for that because I have seen guys who have very sharp facial aesthetics, but are short.
So
They're like
what it-
5'5",
okay.
5'4" in height, and they struggle. They struggle in the sexual marketplace.
Okay, but you still judge women just as hard, right? So what if Rumor Millis... But, okay, you know what? Forget about Rumor Millis. Hardin, who do you think is the most attractive woman to you right now? Just the cutest, hottest.
The most Jessica Chastain. That's one I like a lot.
That is not a bad choice, my friend. She is cute. Red hair women, very, very cute. But what if Jessica Chastain had ugly feet? Like, would you accept that? Because I know you're a foot guy. I don't know why, but you would?
It wouldn't be a deal breaker. No.
Okay, so you're...
For me, what's a deal breaker is Bertha or Shaniqua.
Okay, describe that
That's the
for
line
viewers.
For me. That's the line.
So fat
for me.
people. Fat is wrong.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you tell me how you feel about those bug burgers? Because, you know, the Beyond Burger, or what's the other one called? Almost a Real Burger or something?
Impossible Burger.
Oh, Impossible Burger. Thank you. Yeah. How do you feel about those burgers made out of, like, chemicals and bug legs?
Oh no, they're not using bugs. No, those are vegan products. They're not using insect extracts.
They're not
the stuff
burgers.
the stuff doesn't interest me, but I don't have a problem with it. I'm happy. I'm happy that products like that on the market because it does help those who are addicted to animal products transition away from that. So I don't see anything wrong with it.
You say addicted?
Yeah, do you think it's an addiction for, you know, most of the population to eat steaks and burgers?
Yes, yeah, I look at that as no different than a heroin or cocaine addiction.
Ooh! Okay, wait, that is a very strong comparison. Alex, do you care? Are you a vegan? Is Alex still here?
I'm not a vegan. I did try it for a time. Yeah, I tried it for a year as a I guess when it was like 15, 20 years ago, it was called vegetarianism, not veganism. But I saw a documentary on the slaughterhouse industry. Cattle were were raised and butchered, and it really turned my stomach. And I did try being a vegetarian for a year in high school, and I don't think I did it right. I was doing, at the time, the only thing you could get were like tofu burgers.
Mm.
And I did that for a year, and so I mean, your diet really suffers, and your health kind of
So,
suffers. Like you just
so
kind of
as
look
a
sickly and gray and
yeah,
ashen.
so as a non-vegan, do you think Hardin's lifestyle is kind of bullshit? Dashboard.
I mean, no, I mean there is a major ethical issue there. I mean, I think only true sadists, don't have any problem with raising and butchering animals. Um, if you could,
Sadists. Wait.
consume meat without.
Yeah.
I mean, you do see people like, I mean, hunters who do it for the sake of hunting, and they're not even taking the meat. They're just
Yeah,
getting off
I am
on
against
trophy
that.
kills and killing deer for the pleasure of it.
Yeah, I disagree with that
So, I mean,
entirely.
here's the question, though. I mean,
Yeah.
this is the true ethical question. If you do think it's wrong to raise animals for food, the question then becomes, okay, what becomes of all of these animals? Because if nobody on the planet were consuming them, how many animals would we keep? I mean, we wouldn't raise millions and millions of cows or chickens or pigs. Would we just keep a handful for the zoo? And so then it becomes like a real ethical question: is it better that these animals are brought into existence to be killed, being born to die, millions upon millions of animals, or is it better that very few animals are born at all, and the few that are born are just, kept in a zoo or a preserve for people to look at?
Mm.
And so, on the one hand, you have tens of millions or billions of animals being raised and slaughtered. On the other, you have maybe a few dozen or a few hundred animals being raised, and they get to live out their lives, and it's a true ethical question.
So,
Hardin, what do you
Hardin,
think
you
about that?
are Hardin, you are a vegan currently, right? Not a vegetarian, a vegan.
Yeah.
Okay, so
lifelong,
feel
lifelong,
free. Okay, hang on. I am gonna let you speak. I will let you speak, Hardin. Correct me if I'm wrong. A vegan is somebody who does not consume any animal products. That includes, you don't even eat
animal
butter
products at
because
all.
it's made from cow milk, right?
Yeah,
A
that's
vegetarian is
disgusting.
somebody who
That's-
just
that-
doesn't. Okay.
That shit is disgusting.
So a vegetarian doesn't eat animals, a vegan doesn't even eat animal products. Okay, so feel free now to go ahead and answer Alex.
Yeah. In fact, the reason that the term vegan unfortunately had to be created in our language is because the term vegetarian got watered down, because vegetarian used to mean what vegan means. It used to, but I don't know what led to that term getting watered down to include people who eat bee vomit and female bovine lactation secretion. But whatever.
Wait a minute. Milk. You call that female bovine secretions?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's female bovine lactation secretion. Yes.
Okay, but like
every animal species, the females of every animal species create milk for their children, not
right.
for other species, for their children.
But Hardin, I mean,
But
hang on, Maria. I'm very sorry, but can't you argue by the same logic that, say, a gazelle only produces meat for her own offspring? Like when a tiger eats some sort of a prey animal, I mean, that wasn't really meant for him then, by your logic, right?
Well, the difference is actual omnivores and carnivores. Like a bear is an example of an actual omnivore. A cheetah is an actual carnivore, and there's very little difference between an omnivore and a carnivore. The only real difference is omnivores just have slightly longer intestines than carnivores. So real omnivores and carnivores are doing they're built through evolution to do. They are actual hunters. They are natural hunters. they have the stomach acid for digesting a corpse. They have the natural ability to expel excess cholesterol that they get through
Yeah,
their
but
diet,
say that. But
which
so when I
which
eat,
which is something humans do not have. That's why humans are prone to atherosclerosis, which is the scientific term for heart disease
What's that
from
got to do
eating
with
animal
cheeseburgers?
products.
wait, what is Heart's disease?
Well, so the point I'm making is when I hear people saying I tried a vegan diet and failed, I was malnourished. I don't believe them, and for me, questions that come up is, okay, were you eating just junk food all the fucking time? I mean,
So you're saying Dashboard's full of shit?
I, I'm not saying him necessarily because
Well, he just said he was. No, come on, Hardin. He just said that he
I
felt sickly and dying. You just said that
yeah
people who said that are full of shit.
yeah I mean I
So
would
you're
want to
specifically
hear
referring to him.
I would want to hear what anybody who makes that claim. I want to know, okay,
Okay, I'll give you
because
an example. I'll give you an example.
I eat a whole food plant-based diet, and I am in excellent health. I'm actually in better health than anybody else who I know in my age range, and than a lot of people younger than me. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm not. I'm just keeping it real. I know a lot of people who are younger than me
I
who
would
are
like
in shitty health.
to. Okay, I would like to get your opinion on the raw meat people, raw food people, rather. So this is a movement I've noticed on Twitter. I've been following a few people on Twitter now who believe that if you eat something raw, it is healthier for you. So I've been following a young girl. I don't want to name her Twitter account, but she believes that, for example, if you drink water, it actually dehydrates you because water just flushes electrolytes out of your body and the minerals. So what you should do is drink
That is
cow milk. Hang on. She thinks you should drink milk from whatever animal, doesn't matter what the animal is, and you should eat raw meat because if you cook the meat, the cooking process basically destroys a bunch of the nutritional value of the meat, like the protein. So you should eat it raw. For example, have you heard of this?
That is not true because the only way for humans to safely eat a corpse is to cook it. Literally, because we don't have the proper level of hydrochloric acid to digest a corpse and to kill the parasites that are naturally present in a carcass.
No. Well, hang on. As far as I know, you can eat red meat raw if you cut out the surface area, basically. So this is why we can eat steaks medium rare, right? Because we cook the surface of it and we kill off the bacteria at the surface. It's not necessarily deadly, is what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, whatever. You're still getting an extremely high level of saturated fat and cholesterol. Two things that the human body is not evolutionarily designed to deal with. So a diet of animal products is actually the least healthy diet for humans, and this is what I'm saying. When I hear people saying I tried a vegan diet and it failed me, because I've looked into a lot of these a lot of these stories because there's so many of them on YouTube. I've looked into a lot of them, and a lot of them when you when you when a lot of them, when you look into the backstories and you where they're actually being honest about what they're eating, well, well, it's no wonder. Yeah, if you're eating fucking junk food all the time, you know, Vegan Gains on YouTube has done an excellent job on exposing those fucking morons too.
Wait.
And
Vegan
and
Gains. Sorry, go on. I have to Google this guy.
You haven't heard of vegan gains?
Oh, Hardin, Vegan Gains. I know Vegan Gains. Vegan Gains has
Most
a
famous
beef
vegetarian
with.
on Earth.
He has a beef with one of my friends on my. I have a podcast, and Vegan Gains really hits my buddy on my show. The thing with Vegan Gains though is he's a cuckold. Did you know that?
Oh,
what's the relevance? How's that?
Well,
relevant
I mean,
to
I'm not gonna take the advice of a guy who prostitutes his wife. Would you prostitute your wife?
No. No, because
Oh, yeah,
I'm
okay,
too
so-
possessive for that.
It casts some doubt on any other claim that he has, and also says that his cat is a vegan. So this is a guy who likes to watch his wife get fucked by other men, and also he feeds his cat lettuce.
No, I doubt that. No, there are vegan pet food products on the market. Unfortunately,
Are
I'm
your
not
cats
able
vegan?
to feed. I'm not able to feed my cat vegan because she is prone to urinary tract infections. She's prone to that crystal buildup in her urinary tract. So she has to be on a medical diet food, which none of the vegan pet food makers make. None of those companies make medical diet formulas.
So she has to
when-
eat meat?
aren't you just saying something about how they're natural carnivores and shit and stuff? So if she wasn't like this, you would put her on a vegan diet? Or because she's domesticated, she's lost all her senses?
On vegan pet food, yeah, there are companies that make vegan pet food. I'm not talking about.
But you
I'm
would
not
if
talking
she
about yes.
wasn't disabled, or has her penis.
Well,
sorry, my cat had to get his penis taken off because he. that cat
Wait,
had-
what? Your cat had to have his penis taken off?
Yeah, he got blocked. Well, I don't know if it was a UTI. But
Oh, so he
kept getting
he was prone.
blocked.
He was
Yeah,
prone to urinary tract infections.
the
Oh.
hole's too small, and they kept him there for a couple more days, and they're like, "Yeah, he keeps." Fuck
Aw.
fuck you,
I'd
Kaya.
laugh.
Don't fucking
It's
laugh.
sad.
you dumbass.
I'd rather
It's sad.
Yeah, you took
Go
his
ahead.
cock away.
Yeah. If my cat did not have the need for a medical diet food formula, it's called urinary SO food. If she didn't have a need for that, yes, I would be giving her vegan pet food. Yes.
Why though?
Mm.
What? But that's the.
But don't you
Isn't
think
it bad
so?
for the
But
animals?
Hardin,
Isn't it?
hang on, Hardin. But there's like, don't you think there's any animals who have to eat meat, like lions? A lion has to eat meat, right? That's what it evolved to do. They're just life.
Well, humans have never domesticated lions, so that,
No, I
don't
understand
care
that,
about
Hardin, but no, I'm not trying to make a point about
Um,
humans. I'm just saying that there are animals who have to eat meat, right?
I'm just talking about domesticated cats. We've never domesticated lions.
Okay, but
um,
I'm just asking you, man to man, just
But
there are creatures who have
but-
to
but-
eat meat, right?
No.
No?
there are certain nutrients that an obligate carnivore like a cat needs. How they get those nutrients is irrelevant.
Obligate carnivore.
A cat is an obligate
Okay,
carnivore.
all right.
Yeah,
So, okay, what you're saying is that technically, technically, we could provide a lion with all the nutrients it needs. Sure, via like.
I mean,
Uh,
if we were going to domesticate them, which I'm not in favor of, I'm not
Yeah, me
interested in
neither,
seeing
but
that happen. But
okay, but you do agree that there's just some animals who have to eat other animals, right? That's just how life works, how nature operates.
with the exception of domesticated dogs and cats, yes.
Aren't there
Hmm.
multiple studies about
Good.
how bad, like if dogs and cats being vegetarian, isn't that like give them very poor health? Hardin.
No, no. Before I had to switch my cat to urinary SO food because of her medical issues. She was actually in every other way, and by every other metric, she was in excellent health.
Wait,
I
before
don't
you
know, I've
switched
read
her
multiple
to
studies.
so before you switched her to vegan food, she was in excellent health.
I was feeding her vegan cat food. Yes. Yes, you know, I have to keep emphasizing that because people seem to not be aware there are companies that make vegan pet food. These are scientifically formulated food products.
I mean, I always give my dog meat. I don't want him to be a pussy.
Alex, do you? How do you feel about this?
I was feeding her vegan cat food. Yes, yes.
Hang on, Alex, do you have pets? Oh, he may have left.
No, I have no pets. No,
Oh,
I'm here,
okay.
I'm here. I have no
All right.
pets. I had them as a
Dude.
child.
Do you have any thoughts on this? I really understand where Hardin comes from because I'm personally I love animals. My favorite job in the world. I will never have this job, but I think Hardin, do you know those guys who shoot poachers? Because
Poachers?
Yeah, like poachers,
Yeah,
they're the guys who cut the
get-
horns off of rhinos.
They get my respect. Yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
I want to be that guy. I want to be the guy who is guarding rhinos and shit from poachers. I want to be that guy. I want to shoot poachers in the fucking face, and then I want to like film myself taking filming TikToks and shit. That's fucking fun.
Anybody who is a rancher or a hunter, and when I say hunter, I'm including so-called fishing in that. I don't know why there's a different term for that. It's just hunting aquatic creatures. That's all. I don't know why there's a different term.
Okay, hang on, hang on, wait.
But
Go ahead.
Yeah, anyone who is a hunter, a rancher, a vivisector, those are the people who do animal experiments for drugs and cosmetic products and shit.
So you don't have any line. You just take every animal.
Hold on, a trapper like a fur trapper. These beekeepers, they all
Beekeepers.
What beekeeper? Wait. Okay, hang on.
Save bees.
They're holding them hostage.
Yeah.
Just like
Okay,
dogs
everybody.
hold
All right.
animals
Hang on.
Yes.
Hang on.
Yeah. All
Everyone
of those
shut up.
kind of people- all of
Everybody
those
right
kind of
now,
people-
Hardin. Everyone wants to know what is your problem with beekeepers?
Because they're enslaving those creatures and exploiting them for their vomit, for their fucking vomit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
and
neighbors have bees, Hardin. Should I go
all of-
set them free right now?
All of those types of people that I mentioned in my world would get capital punishment.
Oh yeah, if you were the ruler. Yeah.
So you think people who save bees and protect them should die?
They're not saving them. They're not. They're fucking exploiting those creatures.
That's what conservationists do. They save bees.
They're fucking exploiting those creatures. You know, I
I
don't.
mean, some people trap them for honey, but some of them save them, just to keep them, feed them, keep them in a good habitat.
Okay, if it's someone who's not stealing their vomit, you know, their food that they make through
But-
vomiting.
I don't know
Okay,
if it's a joke or not, though, guys. But really, you guys haven't heard of honey not being vegan. Like, I mean, being
No,
yeah,
I have
not
heard of that,
vegan.
but
Of course, it's
bees.
not vegan. Of course,
There
not.
would be far fewer bees right now if men weren't farming bees for the honey, right? And you say it's okay. Yes, technically it is bee vomit, but it is. It's not like we're torturing bees for their honey. It's just a substance that they vomit out. We don't even know if they can feel pain. Like, do you believe that bees can feel pain?
No. Bee enslavers, besides just keeping them in very confined quarters, which is unnatural for them, they also amputate the wings of the queen to prevent the queen from flying away and starting another colony.
I've
Because
heard that, actually.
yeah, because bees have an extremely matriarchal culture, which I don't like, but that's them. Let them do them. I'm not interested in interfering with them. Just leave them the fuck alone.
I thought you liked it when if men were in power. Why wouldn't you like that?
I'm not interested in trying to interfere in the internal the internal operations of another species. Just leave them alone. Yeah, I don't like the culture of bees. I don't like I don't like their extreme matriarchal culture, but I want them to be left alone.
Talk about bee politics. Where are you drawing your line? You don't have a line on animals. You said fishing's not okay. That's really weird.
You're harming the animal when you're fishing.
Do I really have to explain this seriously? Oh my god.
I understand.
Yeah, well, okay, so no. Hang on. Hardin, yes, so we are... Look, man, when you say something like bee enslavers, you do know that to most people, like 990 people out of 1,000, that sounds very, very weird, right?
So what?
No, I'm not saying that you're wrong or that it's or any of that. I'm just saying that it is confusing to most people, and if you want to win, eventually you do have to explain what you meant.
Yeah, we just don't want you to say anything weird.
You know, they're back during the era of Rome. 95 plus maybe even 99% of the public at that time considered the gladiator sport games moral and moral and justifiable, and they went to the Coliseum and cheered on these guys, you know, beating each other and stabbing each other to death. So just because the majority of people view something as moral and justified does not make it so. No, we have to go by objective standards. Objective standards. You know, people in modern time, most people in modern time, when reading about the history of Rome and reading about the gladiator sport games, look at that with disgust. Look at that with disgust, because people in modern time realize that was fucking savage. That was barbaric.
Yeah, but I mean, we look different on it if it's a fellow human being doing something evil to another fellow human being, as opposed to, you know, us farming bugs like bees. Usually, you know, when you're talking about bee slavery or something, slavery is a term you would use for one human enslaving another human.
Yeah, the term can be applied to any sentient being confined to
but
quarters.
It's not as big of an issue if
bees
like
are sentient beings. Bees are sentient beings.
Yeah, but we don't even know if they can feel
They're-
pain.
they're-
That's what I'm saying. Like,
they're-
that's why
they're-
a
they're-
human being
they're-
enslaving another is a problem, whereas a human being, whatever, farming bees is not as big of a problem.
Whoa, excuse me. Bees, just like any other animal species, they're not a fucking rock or a plant. They have central nervous systems. They have nociceptors. They have the ability to experience a subjective reality. So yeah, that by definition makes them sentient beings.
What about roaches?
What about them?
Okay, hang on. We have a caller. He would like... Alex, are you still here? Hell?
Yeah, man, I'm still here.
Yes, okay, thank you. We have a caller. His name is Paz. He would like to ask you a question, it seems. Hello?
Okay, so Dashboard, quick question. Have you ever been in a relationship?
Yeah, several.
Several, okay. So, from what I understand, your theory is that average, like, schlubs do much better with women than, like, you know, the stereotypical Chad, right?
Yes, exactly. That's
So-
what I maintain.
So why do you spend all your time theory crafting instead of actually going out and getting into these relationships? According to your own philosophy,
I'm gonna
you should
pee.
be killing it right now.
No. According to my own theory, it explains why I'm having such problems and why I'm struggling. If I were different in personality, different in appearance, different in my lifestyle, I maintain I would have had much more success when it comes to dating, as it relates to getting into a relationship. I maintain if you come across as intimidating in different ways, it could be physically, it could be in your lifestyle, your accomplishments, your personality. Women are not going to receive that well, especially in the modern world. I think I would have had much better luck, much more success in a different era when I think my traits were more valued, more highly esteemed. And if anything, the traits that would have had guys being more successful decades ago or even longer in a different era, these are actually working against these guys in the present day, especially with the modern zeitgeist, with, for lack of a better word, social engineering, or the different narratives that are put out there by your media, by your government. I mean, just this constant, like I said, the constant hysteria or fear, and when women consume it on a daily basis from
One
their
second.
smartphones.
What
Sorry,
traits
go
are you
ahead.
talking about? What traits do you have that don't work nowadays?
Sure, I mean, I think women definitely are wary of for lack of a better word, handsome, good-looking dude, a physically imposing dude, a dude that's much larger physically in stature than her. I think that
I would
turns
agree
women
with
off.
you. I
What?
think
I would love to
I
get
actually
more
agree
feedback
with
from
that.
women on this chat. I was promised women. That's why I
a
came
few
here.
men in my class right now, my cohort, are actually very large, like 6'6", very, very like big dudes, and I would say they're pretty intimidating just by nature, and then also by like how they speak. They're really loud and domineering and like just in your face all the time, and it's just kind of scary occasionally.
Yeah, I'm
However,
sure it can
however,
be. Yeah, I mean, even if you were like the tall, silent, brooding type, that's also intimidating for because it could be assumed that, oh man, the guy is, physically.
It's not a bad trait.
Oh, it's bad
Uh,
in the sense that it's gonna make
however,
it's gonna make you have less success with women, and you're
the
not
thing
really gonna
is,
get a relationship.
They didn't do anything wrong. They're just very like, like just big, like in
Tall
all
and handsome?
aspects.
the thing is
No,
that
they're not. I mean, one of the dudes looks like Thor, I would say, but like he's not intimidating because he's handsome. He's just loud and talks over people, and he's like big and very muscular. He's like 300 pounds, but he's like 6'8" and just super buff, and
yeah.
like
Well,
it's just intimidating.
The thing is that while in
Well,
person,
let me ask you a question: Is
this
that
might
guy
not like.
having success with
Uh,
women? Is he in a
okay.
relationship, or is
Yeah,
he alone?
yeah.
He's
So-
not alone.
One
He's
at
actually
a
married to a
time.
doctor.
One at a time, lady. All right,
I
Alex,
want to
go.
point something out.
No,
I want to
first
point something
Alex.
out before that.
Pass
So-
with your turn. Alex, then pass. Okay.
Yeah,
Alex.
so I mean that would be my question. This guy who is really physically intimidating, really good looking. You said he is in a relationship. You said with a doctor.
Yes, she's like a 10 out of 10, super
Really?
fit doctor,
Ah,
blonde.
she's a Stacy. She's a Stacy.
She's a Stacy, and they actually
How
just
old
got
are they?
engaged last
You
month.
said they're in your.
Uh,
You said they're in your classes, aren't you? Like
He's
22. Okay.
27, 27, and she's 25.
And she's a doctor at 25.
Yeah, she's a surgeon.
No, you can't be a surgeon at 25. That's not possible.
Well, it is. She's in
No, I mean,
training, of course.
22.
She's in school. She's getting her residency.
No.
How would
No,
a
at
woman
22,
be? Yeah, it
you,
doesn't
you
make
would have
any sense.
graduated undergrad at 22, and then 4 years of med school, you'd be at least 26, and then you could start to get your residency at like 27. I mean, she could be
She
a med
graduated
student.
college in 2 years. She was in an expedited program.
All right.
But she
Okay,
cheated.
point is, she's attractive. Her boyfriend is attractive. What is your Where are you going with this?
What I wanted to say was that what you pointed out as intimidating factors can also be attractive factors in another context. For example, if you see a person day to day and you think that you have to work with them professionally, you can see them as intimidating. But if you're a woman looking for a man, you can see them as protection. For example, with my current girl, I'm bigger than her and stronger than her, and she sees that as a protective thing instead of an intimidating thing.
Yeah, that can be the narrative, especially if you said, are you calling from, I think, India or something, or?
What means
Asia?
India? No, I'm American.
Okay.
He's
that type of that narrative. I mean, in other
He's not-
countries, you will have that dynamic or that culture, whereas in the West, those exact traits where a man could be seen as a
Alex.
provider, protector,
Well,
Alex,
those are going
well,
to work.
India-
hang.
Those are going
I
to work
live-
against the
I
guy.
live in the West.
One moment, we need to get to the bottom of this. Paz is Israeli.
autistic.
No, I
Jewish.
He made Hardin Muslim the last time we actually spoke to Hardin.
Yeah.
Well, okay, but getting back to what you just said, where, in a different context, that's true. So I maintain it's the opposite of what you said. If you got to know the guy, like what Maria said, she knows this guy, he's a nice guy, but if she didn't know him, she would be intimidated. She would probably stay away from this big, jack, scary-looking dude. She might cross the street if she sees him coming around. But because she knows him from the context that they're in the same class with each other, she sees him every day. She talks to him. She knows, okay, this guy's big and scary, but he's a nice guy. He's a good dude. He's decently intelligent. If she didn't know him, she might say, oh, that's a big knuckle dragging brute. He must be really stupid. To be that big, like caveman like, right? I mean, that's the stereotype. But because she knows him, and she's gotten to know him, she's more familiar with him. She knows, what his personality is like. On the other hand, if she
He's an
again,
asshole.
well, why do you say that? Just because he's got like a loud voice?
No, it's because he regularly bullies everyone. Last week, one of our technicians, his cat got hit by a car. Not 5 minutes went by, and he was already making jokes about how our technician was going to eat the cat.
That's not funny.
And it's not funny.
That's not funny at
Jeez,
all.
he's making fun of a dead person. What a jerk! Gosh.
The cat literally the cat was bleeding out in the street, and he was making
Aw.
jokes about it. It was
I mean,
awful.
Was he
fucked up.
Asian?
That's fucked up.
He's an asshole. Yeah, empirically an asshole.
my thing about what I wanted to say is, if you were right, then these wouldn't be like one of the most common traits for a woman to want, because what I keep on hearing from women is that they want tall guys that are muscular. And if you look at the dating apps, this is what is mostly supported. If you look, women like they lost after Chris Hemsworth, Jason Momoa, Chris Evans, and they go on dating apps. The guys that are tall and strong tend to get far more matches than anything else. You're saying that
On Tinder and OkCupid, yes.
Yeah, no,
I mean,
but
it's like
no. Hang on.
Having success. Yeah.
She's making the same point I made about how handsome and rich men get to cheat more, like Tiger Woods. if you're rich and you're successful, you get to cheat on. Sorry, you get to cheat with like 200 people on your wife. So that's his
No, I
point.
disagree with that. Again, because women think like just as you said that women will be having that same thought that rich, successful, good-looking guy, he's going to be a cheater by his nature. I mean, that is the narrative that these guys can't be trusted, that they're innately untrustworthy, they're going to cheat, they're going to be doing something behind your back. Women think similarly when it comes to choosing a life partner. They're going to stay clear of these guys. So I think it's actually the guys that you wouldn't suspect that have the most options and the most opportunity to cheat. That's the whole idea of it's the guys that you think are doing poorly that are actually the ones in having the ability to cheat, date multiple people simultaneously, and it's the strikingly good-looking guys, the really masculine, jacked up, muscular dudes that you think women are actually secretly longing for. They're the ones who are struggling, and they're probably too proud to admit it. They'll be saying to their buddies, "Oh no, I could get a woman. I'm just focusing on working out. I'm focusing on my body." And the fact is, they
Nice.
can't. They're struggling.
So that's
But we
Yeah.
have to make the distinction between
Brady,
success
hang
on
on.
and
No.
and success on a dating app. These good-looking guys, they may get swipes, but how many of those convert to a real date? How many of those dates convert into a long-term relationship? Women, for the most part, they treat online dating or dating apps sort of just like reading material. When they go to the bathroom, they may flip through the phone, look at some guys. It's entertainment for them. It's not really. They're not using it as a true means to meet somebody. Whereas for guys, that's their lifeline. That's they're drowning in the water, and that's their inner tube, their flotation device. That's all they have. It isn't like option number 10 in a long laundry list of options that they have. It's they're struggling, and that's all they have. For women, it's like it's entertainment while they go to the bathroom, or if they're sitting at a bar talking to their friends, they'll be like, "Hey, look at this guy, he matched on me." It's
Well,
Yeah.
do you
I've
think
come
an
to this
alpha male?
conclusion.
Do you think an
How
alpha male Chad would rather have a long-term relationship or a good fuck?
What's that?
I said, you think you're talking about alpha male Chads caring about a long-term relationship?
Yeah,
they don't
exactly.
care. They want to
But
get their rocks off.
again,
They want to have a good
you're
fuck.
using this narrative. You're using that very harmful narrative that
Not
if
a
a guy is
narrative, it's
really
truthful.
good looking, he doesn't want a relationship. He doesn't
Yeah,
want
Brady.
to have one woman. He doesn't want to have one woman that he's crazy about to do everything with.
Yeah,
even
eventually,
stuff
but he's
that
not dying for it because he knows he's gonna get it one day.
listen,
Quit
the thing,
perpetuating
the thing,
no,
toxic.
I
the
think
thing is that
it is a toxic narrative, and a lot of people have bought
Jeez,
into it.
Brady.
Women have bought into it. I think some guys start to emulate it, and it's very self-defeating. It's destructive when you say, "Oh, hey,
It
this
sounds like
guy's
you're just
really good."
creating this ultra cope. Like you can't get
I-
girlfriends,
Not a
so you
cope. I
gotta.
mean,
the thing is,
everything that I claim is informed by real-world observations. I even tend to disregard,
The
statistics that are
observations of
pulled
your
from
life.
online
You
polls.
not being able to
Yeah,
get
online.
girlfriends. You think of yourself
Hey,
as
Alex,
super.
Alex, just
Shut
so
up,
you know,
shut up.
Brady's never been in a relationship, so he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. He's more of an incel than anyone in this
Hannah,
conversation
no.
could be, because he's
Everybody,
a freaking virgin. So don't.
I got you. I got you.
Yeah, she
just a
has
quick
no
question
idea what
to
the
you,
hell
Alex.
she's talking about.
Alex.
She's a dumb bitch who just thinks she knows everything.
So,
Well, I was talking actually. I'm saying you think you're this hot man and you can't get a relationship, so you think every hot man can't get a relationship.
I think a lot of attractive men are.
No.
struggling on that basis.
No. Hang on. Alex, shut the fuck up. Brady, why do you have a problem with Hannah?
Because she's a dumb bitch who just wants to nag me all the time. She's really a stupid cunt.
Hannah, your take?
I had to mute her. She kept interrupting me. She wouldn't shut the fuck up.
No, don't fucking mute her, you dumbass.
Well, I
What-
can't be interrupted.
No, do not mute her. Elisa, you are unmuted. Please.
It's
We need
okay.
your t-
Brady got a little sad because I exposed
the
him,
only thing
but that's
sad
fine.
is you.
How do you
just
feel
imagine-
about Brady?
You live in this
How do I
sad,
feel about
pathetic
him?
life where you don't have any friends.
Yes, how do you feel about Brady?
Well, Brady sends me pictures of him flexing in the mirror at the gym about
I'm
4
off
times
my
a week,
cat.
I think, and with no text or context.
No, Hannah, that's not
I
unique
am
to you.
right.
He keeps on sending
You
me
see,
shirtless
Hannah,
pics
I
as
do
well.
it because I know you love it.
He sends me a lot of shirtless pics, and
Yeah,
honestly,
you're right. I love it. I
really,
I
like,
live for those pictures of you.
You do. You compliment me. You said you like them. So don't leave that part out.
Dashboard. I got a question for you.
Oh, fine. Go ahead.
So just a while ago, Hannah admitted that she dated an Urkel,
Guilty.
and she ended the relationship when she started viewing him as a moocher. Would you agree that kind of pokes a hole in your oofy doofy theory? Because if the guy was being a moocher, not contributing to the living expenses and whatnot,
For 6
you know
months.
that would put him
Oh.
in the that would put him in the oofy doofy category, would it not? But yet Hannah
No.
ended the relationship.
No, so see with that, if he had had any job whatsoever, even a minimum wage part-time job, and he just contributed whatever small amount, he could have worked a couple days a week doing like Uber Eats delivery. And if he, no matter how small and trivial and meager his income was, if he said, whatever I got is yours, and it could be, he could have been kicking in 10% or 5% of the rent. That token amount would have been enough. It was the fact that he was just
I think so.
not contributing at all. So to be like a viable partner in this paradigm, you don't have to be making a ton of money. And if anything, I do think that counts against you. But you do have to be willing to contribute something. Like, I think that's what doomed that relationship, that he was completely idle and unwilling. Because I mean, that's being selfish. That's being a self-centered person, that you're not willing to contribute anything. I mean, even if it was just a small token symbolic amount, that guy could have been doing like $5 a month if that's what he was bringing in. And you know what, I bet that relationship would not have ended over that reason.
Wow,
That is correct.
That's an interesting argument you make there.
It's
Dashboard.
correct. That was the only reason why. He showed to me that he was too much of a child to stay in the relationship.
To pay for dinner?
No, not to pay for dinner, to
To
contribute
everything.
something, and not he laid around and watched TV all day. I mean, he made me pay for rent. Just help.
Right,
Yeah,
but
so,
so
I mean, in
he
the end,
laid around
the
all day.
guy
He
in both-
paid.
in-
He
in
made
both
you
those
pay for dinner.
relationships would have been
No,
the guy
but
in those relationships
No, I
have
would
been
cook dinner.
self-centered.
And do the
been.
laundry, and do the dishes. He
but
did nothing all day.
Alex, so
Sounds like
does
you
this
sat
not
there and took it, too.
disprove your theory? Hannah dated a guy who was just sitting around. He made less money than her. He made her pay for all the food and
she let it
entertainment.
happen because he had a nice cock.
No,
No, I thought this was with the
Christ.
Urkel.
Made
This
him
was like the
food.
nerdy guy.
he was from a
Nerdy.
different country. He couldn't work.
Sounds like he was putting out for you.
If you're from a different country, you can't work. You don't have a
Oh,
license
Was
to
he
work.
giving you work?
Oh, was he from an African country?
No, he was from the Caribbean.
Oh.
So yes.
Oh, like Barbados, Trinidad, someplace like
So
that.
you did you have sex with him, Hannah?
I am not going to
there's the
disclose.
answer.
any-
Thank you. So yeah, he didn't pay rent. You did his laundry and his food. Yeah, he fucked your brains out.
I'm not sharing anything
That
else.
answer did share it. Thank you.
Okay, but
Okay.
but Hannah, keep the circumstances the same, but just change one thing. So instead of an Urkel, make him a Tyrone. Make him a Tyrone. But keep all the other circumstances the same. Would you still have ended the relationship?
Yes, because I don't like dating man children. I like dating people my age. Like mentally and physically my age.
As long as they don't have a job.
Alex, did you have anything else to say? I think everyone was interrupting you, especially Brady.
Oh, I mean, it sounds like you went from one extreme to the other. Like you thought, okay, it didn't work out
Truly.
with the Adonis, like the physically, the Chad guy, right? Like it sounds like you went from one extreme to the other, expecting it to be different, the dynamic in the relationship. Am I right? It sounds like that's almost what you did.
I had no confidence, and the guy in question, he didn't care that I was like mentally broken. If anything, he like enjoyed being able to like lift a woman from that, I think. Or he seemed to like revel in that.
Wait,
Listen, I mean,
which
Yeah,
one?
I mean-
The Chad or the Urkel?
Wait.
Let
Yeah,
Let me
let's.
say this. I think what needs to be done. There's been so much division between men and women, to the point that you need something akin to like the Truth and Reconciliation, like what they had in South Africa after apartheid. I mean, you know what that's called, like the Truth and Reconciliation Committee. Like, I think we need something like that, on the order of that, because you do have such deep rot set in this society, where you have massive distrust and resentment built up between men and women, to the point that your society is really, it's kind of running down to the point, and it's not being it's being dysfunctional. Your society is literally breaking down in front of your eyes, and the underlying cause, I don't think it's economics, I don't think it's the pandemic, I don't think it's all these other material explanations that people offer up. I think at the end of the day, it's the piss poor relationship that exists between men and women in society. That drives everything. Everything is downstream from that.
Okay. So Paz has muted himself, I think. Oh no, never mind. We muted him, but we have a caller called Guerra. Guerra, you're unmuted. Hello.
Hi. Hello.
Go ahead.
First of all, I want to apologize on the chat. I was a little bit annoyed. I was just
That's
trying
okay.
to get. I was just, where the fuck was the mods? I was trying to get the Discord and everything, but yeah.
Are you from India?
No.
Brady, shut up.
Almost.
Don't worry about it.
Almost.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Guerra.
It's kind of India, but no, it's Portugal, by the way. It's Portuguese. We like the tone of the skin. It's similar, but like
No, it's fine. It's fine.
yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead with your question.
Okay. This is kind of sad, but I had this deep thought on my mind, and I have. Oh, excuse me.
You don't have
You
to be
okay?
nervous.
Yeah.
It's okay, buddy.
Yeah. Is everything okay? Guerra? Oh, he wants silence. Okay. He. All right.
Headphone connection.
I guess I don't know. I feel like he ripped out
I
his
guess he fainted.
Maybe. Okay. Brady or Hannah, one of you, go ahead, I suppose, and
Well,
ask a
Brady
question.
just made a guy faint from being racist, so maybe he shouldn't go.
It's okay.
Either of you.
Hannah just doesn't like me because I have a job.
Okay.
No, I don't like you because
Either
you
of
send me
you.
unsolicited pictures of you naked. But anyway,
Ew.
Alex?
That you compliment. Sorry, go on.
But Alex, what you were saying earlier about how everything stems from the relationships between men and women, have you, like, what's drawn you to that conclusion? I'm really interested in that. What's
Yeah,
backing?
so, I mean, like for the last, I'd say year and a half on my channel, I focused pretty much on one topic, and that's demographics. I mean, it's kind of a dry subject. I don't know if you guys want to get into it, but basically, I mean, if the men and women in your society are not getting together for any number of reasons, either they have competing interests or priorities like education, career, they don't like each other, they don't trust each other, you have the rise of alternative lifestyles, shall we say, and those alternative lifestyles are attracting an increasing number of young people into them. And just having alternative pursuits, all surrogate activities. It could be hobbies, it could be gaming, it could be even careers. If you're even lofty careers like being a doctor or a lawyer are in a sense an alternative from life. You're putting all of your resources and time into something other than personal relationships.
Okay,
And
wait a minute. I kind of
once that
understand.
happens, yeah, and
Um,
once that starts to happen, people aren't pairing up, they're not getting married, they're not having
okay,
children, and your society starts to just age.
I kind of
Everybody gets,
understand.
yeah.
It's kind of like
Go ahead.
Japan a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly like
Well,
Japan.
I
Yeah.
think that there's definitely merit in what you're saying. I think that also though it needs to be balanced. You can't just go all in, make your woman the center of the universe type thing. But you also can't, be like how Japan is centered and have everyone, just working without, enjoying life and
Yeah.
having
Yeah.
relationships. But I think
I
there's a
think
Hmm.
always
balance.
in a healthy society, you would have a small percentage of your population would be, the doctors, lawyers, scientists, and you know what? People like Isaac Newton, like Nikola Tesla, they put themselves fully into their research, into their work, to the point that they had no interest in personal relationships. And if that's, a small percentage of your population, that's fine. You've got the rest of society who's operating as normal people. I think what we have today, there's even a term for it. It's called elite overproduction. You might have heard it go by like there's an idiom: too many chiefs, too few Indians. So it means like everybody is going to college. That's not enough to be a high school grad with a diploma. Now you've got an undergrad degree. That's not enough. Now you're getting a master's degree, an MBA. That's not enough. And it's like this constant arms race where everybody is being funneled into these elite careers and these elite professions, and like nobody is your rank and file citizen who just lives their life day to day. They work
Do
a
you have a
job,
master's?
work a job, and they,
Your major
they're
is
existing.
physics, right?
A STEM. I never am more specific than that, but STEM, this,
Wait,
science,
hang on.
technology, and
Your
math.
bachelor's?
Hardin, uh,
What?
hang on,
What's that?
Elisa. Hardin, you said that held by the dashboard light overvalues STEM degrees? Or was it the opposite?
What's that? What's that?
Held by the dashboard light and STEM degrees is my question. How do you feel about STEM degrees again, Hardin?
How do I feel about STEM degrees?
Yeah.
Well, since we're on that topic right now, I would love to hear dashboard on that because dashboard you often talk in your live streams how you believe that the STEM profession in modern time has actually become useless to civilization. So it would be interesting to hear you talk about that. You worked on
Yeah.
the research side of STEM. What, if you don't mind sharing, if it wouldn't put you at risk of doxing yourself, what kind of research was that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm willing to share. I mean, I did my bachelor's, master's, and doctorate in STEM.
Okay,
I mean,
that's what
doing
I was
research.
asking.
Yeah, so I mean, my conclusion is there's been the effort to get more people into STEM is really it's not just misguided. I mean, it has the effect of driving down wages, but people don't realize. They think it's like the golden ticket. Like, oh, if you major in STEM from a good university, you're going to be set for life. No, like the majority of STEM graduates never work in their field. There is so much of an overproduction of STEM grads that the majority of them, they may work. They may get a job, but they are not working in their field. They're working in something completely unrelated. And I mean, there are other consequences as well. I mean, I think it really cheapens your society and your culture when a vast majority or a very substantial part of your society is all geared towards STEM to the exclusion of everything else. Like you hear a lot of people, they'll put down the humanities, and they refer to it mockingly as, oh, people are doing
Mm.
underwater basket weaving and stuff like that. But when you live in a society that is very utilitarianized, it loses its humanity. If you can find a society or a region where people are still engaged in the arts, it has a totally different feel to it than a society where I'd say the men are either doing construction, maintenance, or STEM, and the women are doing healthcare. They're nurses, doctors, pharmacists, everything related to taking care of the sick and the elderly. And that's like your whole society is just that. It becomes a society you don't want to live in.
Well, my
So
major is biomedical engineering, and I'm getting my
okay.
master's right now. So,
Hey, can I ask whereabouts are you from? Are you from like the Midwest of the United States?
uh, yeah, I guess it's not really doxing myself. Yeah,
Yeah, I was just going off of your accent or your lack of an accent anyway.
yeah, yeah.
Lack of intelligence.
You know, Brady, no one asked you.
That is
You
true.
work at a truck stop.
Oh.
Well, but Dashboard, I'm curious to know, since you worked on the research side of STEM, what was it about the research projects that your bosses assigned to you that gave you this negative position that you currently have?
Yeah.
Was it literally
Yeah, I
just
mean, I'm
nothing?
definitely very, yeah, I'm jaded and cynical about it. And I think what it is, when you start off, I think your name is Maria, right? You said you're majoring like biomedical engineering. And I mean, it sounds
No,
like, you're going to be
not
doing something
Maria.
really, oh, I'm sorry, Alyssa, is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
Elisa, yeah.
Um, I mean, it sounds like really noble. Like you're going to be doing something that's impactful. Like you're helping
prosthetics.
improve people's, yeah, you're improving people's health and stuff like that. And I think a lot of people, that's what gets them kind of suckered into that to begin with. And you kind of you get your view gets colored over time, and you kind of realize, whatever you're working on, it really is just sort of something you're going through the motions. It's perfunctory. It isn't really as impactful as you started off thinking it would be like.
Making people
And
walk again?
it doesn't happen though like that. Like it's the same people who promised that. They're the same ones who are saying, "Oh, we're going to have life extension technologies."
I've
If you
seen people walk.
the,
I've
the
seen
first
people walk for the first time in like
the
five
first,
years.
but that's the general thing is like people will say, like, you've probably heard of these names like Ray Kurzweil and all these people. They say, hey, Aubrey de Grey, the first immortal has already been born. And it's like, it's in the end, it's bullshit. Like it falls far short
I'm
of
sorry, but that's your own
reality.
personal experience. I've watched kids
Oh
with
yeah.
amniotic band syndrome, never walk in their lives, been crawling their whole
Emin, what?
lives,
Wait,
and
wait, wait,
I give them legs and they can walk again,
wait,
That's
Emin,
rewarding for me.
Aminolic
Dance.
limb syndrome? What?
Dance syndrome.
Amniotic band syndrome. It's when in the mother's womb the limbs of the baby become tangled and
Ew, like not?
I mean, it's not really gross. It's just very sad, and it usually comes with like the kids losing fingers or toes or something like that. But
Oh
in
no.
worst cases, it comes from like losing lower extremities or upper extremities. And like the
Aw.
child that I saw, they lost both of their legs, and he got to run around the office with his sister for the first time, and seeing him get to run with his sister and play like a kid should, like that emotionally for me, like that impassions me to do more for these people. And I think
Hmm.
Did they
not
ask for a male
feeling
doctor?
rewarding, like it is very rewarding. My field is.
Wait.
I mean, the other thing is this: STEM typically represents such a massive commitment in terms like investing your time, your energy, that by the time you're done with it, and again, people invest all of this up front before they get their education, their internship, their career, and then they start to think about the long-term relationship. So they kind of, I think, they live their life backward, and by the time you're done with all of the pro forma stuff, like you're putting the cart before the horse. You're like doing your education, internship, career. By the time you're done with that, at this point, you're usually in your late 20s, maybe even your early 30s. And by that time, it's kind of too late to start to develop your personal relationships. You're kind of done at that point. Your social situation has withered or atrophied. You may be in a new part of the country or the world where you don't know anybody. The people you do know are maybe much older, or from a different culture if you're working like in an international workforce with a
You're
lot
right.
of
You're right.
transplants.
I am
And so
alone
the people,
right now
Uh,
here
yeah,
in like the new
I mean
place I live in.
the people that you're interacting with are going to be either much older. Because think about it, people stick with a job till their retirement. So odds are you're catching somebody who's much older, 50 or 60, working in a STEM field. A lot of we know there we get a lot of foreign students and foreign workers in that field. And I don't have anything against such relationships, but I think they're very unlikely to work because you need to share a lot of common stuff, common culture. You need to be able to make small jokes and observations. And somebody who is even just struggling with the language, they may be technically proficient, but can they understand your observations or references or allusions? And it's that kind of small stuff that usually makes a relationship work. You find yourself like you said, you're kind of alone, isolated, and you're kind of in a situation. What do I do about this? I have the career, but that's all I have. So
Alex,
if you
you say you have a hard time picking up women, but it sounds like you and Hannah are really hitting it off. You're really getting emotional here.
Yeah, but again, yeah, she's fun
Yeah,
to
you want to
talk
go
to.
for a date?
Yeah, you're
I
smooth
would
talking here.
absolutely.
No.
I fucking would go for a date, absolutely. But when you say
Ah.
stuff like picking up
Oh my
women,
God.
you say picking up women. That when you say it like that is like a weird way to view it. You're not
Well, don't
picking up
incel
a
your
woman.
way out
Bernie
of it.
likes
You
to
just gotta date.
dehumanize women a lot, so.
Wait. So Alex is an
What the
incel? I
fuck
don't
is
get it.
this?
Ah, it's me
Like how
again.
you-
I'm sorry. I had internet problems, and then the one that needed to ask a question, then I got out.
He's the Indian.
So,
Okay.
yeah, / Portuguese, yeah.
Yeah.
So wait a minute, Alex is. I don't get it. I'm on. Ooh. So Alex, the HBTDL is the incel. I just to clarify. 'Cause I'm not
Yeah. Just
understanding.
go ahead, ask your question.
Okay. But yeah. I was gonna ask. So I'm 20 years old, and I just want to understand if that I'm an incel or not because I never had a relationship. So by that definition, am I considered an incel?
Do you
No,
hate
I mean, I
women?
think if you're only 20 years old, I think that's a bit early. I mean, and you have to think back. When you say you didn't have any relationship, did you
Yeah.
at least have female acquaintances, female friends? Did you talk to
Of
girls when you were
course.
in class? Okay, okay. I
Yeah.
mean, there are people who, I mean, they may not even be as experienced as you are. I I mean, some guys they don't even have their first intimate relationship until maybe their early 20s or even later. So I think at 20
Right.
that'd be too early for you to sort of start putting labels on yourself. Um,
Okay.
and but the thing is, you're probably out of the best environment that you were ever going to be in which to meet a woman. If you're 20, you're outside of high school, maybe you're in college,
I'm in college,
and
yeah.
by that time, yeah, I mean,
And I'm
depending
in
on your
STEM, by the
major.
way. Yeah, I'm
Oh
in
yeah,
STEM.
yeah. So you probably know there are very few women in STEM, and in particular, if you
Yeah.
major in certain subspecialties. If you're, I believe, in electrical, nuclear, or
I'm in
petroleum
Oh.
engineering.
I'm in software, but now I had a friend that well, got it's repeating another year, and he knows that there's a lot more girls. So I think I believe that there's the software engineer. I think in particular is getting more popular. That's
Mhm.
good. I think I mean you guys were talking about girls get more to healthcare and guys get to more maths and that stuff. I think that's too general to say that because I think the time that's passed by, I think that girls are getting mixed because back in the days, I think early 20s, let's just say, I think a lot of girls didn't play video games. Now every girl, like I think there's a statistic that in PlayStation there's more girls playing in PS4 than PS3, PS2. I think that was a statistic. So I think, in time to time, I think that saying there's less girls in STEM, yes, it's true, but I think that's growing. So yeah, to answer that question. But yeah, so another thing. So what age I consider incel or what how is that works? I don't understand. I just
Your
want to
brain isn't
understand.
finished developing. I mean, you just started your life.
How old are
Yeah,
you, Guerra?
He's
20.
20.
Yeah.
You still got a
mean-
little bit to go. I mean, like, it's just begun for you. I think you just need to, like, go out and interact with people, and it'll
Yeah.
get
Yeah,
better.
it's kind of difficult because 2 years in pandemic, because especially in this country, it's got a lot more strict than America. I think America got, there's some parts that I heard. In here, it's more strict. Like for example, in UK, vaccination percentage is so high that everyone can go outside without mask. It's I mean, discos it's on, but still. So 2 years, I mean, not a lot of social interaction. So I'm trying to understand if if I'm missing
All right.
something.
Yeah,
It's so
I
confusing.
don't want to
It's so
sound
confusing.
I don't want to sound too doomer self for you, but honestly, like the best time for you has already passed. Even though you're young, like really young, your best chance has already passed because your best opportunity would have been junior high or high school. Because think about this: you went to class with the same group of people. It was probably mixed 50-50, men, women, guys, girls. They were all the same age, like plus or minus 6 months of each other, and you got to know them. Like you didn't have to. None of this. Like a lot of these people go on like, hey, you got a cold approach. You got to go just proposition strangers on the street. No, that's bizarre. That's bizarre behavior. You got to know these girls first. You got to know what their personalities, how were they smart, were they into different things, what their hobbies were, what everything about them. And to top it all off, they probably had very similar backgrounds because they all came from the same neighborhood, etc. Like so they had a similar upbringing. So you had a lot in common. Now, as you get out into college and then beyond that, you're going to be dealing with people drawn from all parts of the world, different parts of the country, different ages, and you have really no common history. You can't say, hey, you remember Mr. Mr. Donaldson?
I don't think
He was
you
such
need
a
that
terrible
to have a
teacher. I think you
relationship.
do. I mean, I think honestly, I think the most successful relationships
I
are the
disagree.
ones that start early in life. The
I have hope
earlier,
for
the
you,
better.
buddy. I know you can have a good relationship. I don't like having this, as you said, doomer take
Yeah.
on it. I think that he can facilitate relationships with any sort of person without having these things in the past to draw on. I think he can overcome that.
Okay, we have a caller called Homophobic. Are you there?
Yeah, hey everyone. Big fan of
Hey.
the show, big fan. And so I've been listening to this conversation, and I've been wanting to ask a few questions.
Yeah,
I
go
don't
ahead.
mean to be rude here, but that was the most retarded statement I've ever heard. Now, both of you gentlemen have been very respectful, but you're in your like 30s, 40s. How can you
Hey.
tell this 20-year-old, dude, it's over, man. It's over. He's going into college where he has infinite chances for pussy or relationships. Like, how do you even
Dude.
defend that statement?
Homophobe.
He's lost his chances.
I'm 30, mind you. Okay, how dare you?
It's like you don't wither and die the minute you leave high school, I guess. But fuck the rest of us.
I get
Okay.
what Alex is trying to say, though.
But I really mean to say is, man, you shouldn't be hitting on young women. You should go to Costco here in America. That's where the MILFs live. But, I mean, after a certain point, like it's not even reasonable to debate relationships because most people are like they have kids or anything. But when you tell someone that, wow, dude, it's your best opportunity, man. You might as well start giving up now. You're not in the same neighborhood or whatever, but I hope everyone in this chat finds something special. And with that, I'm gone.
Based and hope pilled.
Do you have a response to that, Alex? Do you have a response to him calling your statement retarded? No,
Alex?
Mr.
Oh,
Alex.
he stepped away momentarily.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Alex
yeah,
is
you-
muted. Okay, so Hardin, do you have a response or?
Well, I get where Dashboard is coming from, because from his frame of reference, he's had his personal experiences and he's seen what's going on in society and
Mhm.
stuff.
No, wait, what did I do?
Wanting to give up on trying to acquire a female life partner. That's too young of an age to just give up, because because at age 20 there's certainly things you can do
Mm.
to give yourself an extra advantage. You know, you can acquire some social status. You know, even if you don't have a Chad to your face. I mean,
I don't
you can
feel like
still.
you have to study women this hard to like get a relationship. Like
I think what
you're
Alex
acting.
is saying is that, you know, you were drawing on like similarities in each other to try to have a relationship, but like I think it's the differences in learning about each other that's the funnest part of a relationship. Why would you want to like be with someone that you know inside and out already? That's
Well, why do
so
you have to do
boring.
that in high school? He's not even here to respond, but it was retarded. Sorry. Hardin, do you have any other comments on that?
I think I've said all I can think of right now on that.
Hardin, what do you think about high school?
I really
was your high
can't
school?
give a perspective on high school because I was homeschooled.
You like high
Oh,
schoolers
you
a
were
lot, don't
homeschooled.
you?
Wait.
So could you
were-
say
that-
that maybe your mother made you an incel or black
Yeah.
pilled?
Was that imposed on your parents, or did you like have a circumstance that made you homeschool?
My mom just didn't believe in institutional schooling,
Did you get kicked out?
and I can see why when I see what youngsters are taught in public schools and
Mm.
private schools. Because I really I really view public schools and private schools the same. They're just opposite they're just opposite ends of the same spectrum. Private schools, due to the fact that the vast majority of them, for whatever reason being, are religious
Religious,
schools.
I went to a
Yes.
Catholic school. Private.
So if you're a parent sending your children to a private school, your children are being indoctrinated to believe in imaginary sky wizards. But in the public schools, they're being indoctrinated to believe in 4,000 genders.
Did you get bullied when you were younger, Hardin? Hardin?
Yeah, occasionally.
Everyone
Yeah.
gets
Is that why
bullied,
you didn't go to
Brady.
school?
Yeah.
Hardin,
Hardin, is that why you didn't go to school?
my first day of public school, I saw like a huge fight within students, and I had never seen a fight before because I went to Catholic school.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah,
Aw.
and there was like a full-on fight with like 20 or so people, and it was
Aw.
like big culture shift
Oh,
awakening.
that sounds like a Wild Wild West style brawl. Wow.
Yeah, lots of hair pulling and throwing things.
Damn.
Would you want
There's
to
some-
would you want to be in that fight if there were a bunch of women in it, Hardin?
Would I want to
Like a-
be in
a
a
big
fight like
A
that?
fight with women, yeah.
Yeah, like put a bitch in her place.
Yeah, that would be fun. A play fight. A play fight. I can
Oh
see
no,
that.
no, no,
No,
no,
really.
no. Not a play fight.
Like really hit a bitch.
You feel like you would lose your manhood if like a bitch punched you.
Hard,
she
a
wouldn't like
woman
being
knocks
hit
you
back.
out.
I can tell you that. She wouldn't
Hard,
like being
and
hit
woman,
back.
a hoe,
Okay.
right hook,
Oh my
I just
god.
big
imagine
right
you going
hook,
to
she
going
knocks
to
you
high
out.
school and them serving you a nice jug of milk and a hamburger, and you just fucking scream.
Yeah, I wouldn't even. Well, I guess he didn't go to school. That's crazy. Then we
I
used
feel
to
like he
get
got kicked
milk
out.
in bags where at one of my schools I went to.
So
Bagged
hard,
milk.
you weren't homeschooled every day of your life. You've been to a public school once in your life, correct? Yes.
Well, my last my last couple years of school was in an alternative school.
Oh.
And that's where you got your ass kicked.
Yeah, and that's because it's if you spend most of your life homeschooled, it's very difficult to adjust to any kind of institutional school. The alternative school was it was the closest thing to a homeschool like
Yeah,
environment because it's very small. It's very small.
I wouldn't know why you wouldn't fit in anywhere. I don't know.
Hey,
As far as
Alex, are you there?
He's not here. I don't think
Mr.
so.
Hell.
Why?
He said he had to step away. Yeah, he wrote it in the chat. He said he had to step
Oh.
away.
Oh.
Is it because that
momentarily.
guy called him retarded?
I'm sure he's used to getting insults.
I think he probably has a bit more.
Hey, I've got a request for the audience.
Sure.
Uh-oh.
Could somebody look up? Because I don't know if I'm not using the search engines right or what I can't
You want a
find
picture of
this
Hannah?
goddamn guy. So
Guy.
the Chad slang term that the black pill community uses, the Chad slang term,
Mm-hmm.
that was inspired by, and I guess he's an A-lister. He's a famous actor whose first name is Chad, but I don't know the guy's last name. So that I think that's why I'm having difficulty finding any photos of him I think that's why I'm having difficulty finding photos of him on the search engines. But
Mm-hmm.
I did see a photo of him one time, and I can see how he was the inspiration for the slang term because he is a very good looking guy. He really
Who are we
is.
talking
He
about?
is a
Which
very
guy?
nice looking guy. But
So why do you
Who?
think he can't get a
You're
girlfriend?
just trying to find the original Chad, though.
that
wait.
actor, yes.
Wait,
His first name is
which
Chad.
guy?
His first name.
Chad
I don't know.
Thundercock?
I don't know the guy's last name. I just don't know the guy's last name.
So you're
But
comparing
You
him
mean
to Hal
Chad
by
Thundercock?
Ashford?
he's an actor. So yeah, if someone could find his last name and put some photos of him,
Okay.
in the.
Mm.
Do you want to stare at his muscly visage? Is that why?
I just think it'll be interesting for the audience to
research?
see, photos of the individual that
Oh.
inspired that slang term, the Chad slang term.
Gus
Mm.
Johnson.
Okay.
I
Because
don't know.
it-
I'm looking for this. I can't find anything.
Pardon?
It is an actual person named Chad that inspired the slang term. He's an actor.
Hardin, why do you
Oh.
think
And,
Alex
and,
can't get a
and he's a
girlfriend?
good-looking guy. He is a good-looking guy. Very good looking.
Hardin.
I wish I had his looks. Damn.
Hardin. Why do
I mean,
you think
he's-
Alex can't get a girlfriend if he's a Chad that looks like that? Why can't he get a girlfriend?
Dashboard?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Alex.
Yeah, I'm back. I just
Yeah.
stepped
Oh,
away for a couple
hello.
minutes.
So
Did you want
why
to respond to that
Hardin?
one kind of rude guy that
Yeah, I heard. I was listening. I just had to mute myself and step away. But I heard. I think he was saying like, I was saying like to the guy who was 20 that I'm not saying it's too late, but I'm saying you're already over the hill in the sense like your best opportunities are already behind you even at the age of 20. And I mean I stand
Aw.
by that. I really do think your best chance to secure a workable, ideal, long-term or lifelong relationship is your teenage years when you're in junior high or high school. And that's based on a couple of things. One, the environment is much healthier because you get to know each other first and then you proceed to maybe a romantic relationship. Once you're out of this, you're down to either dating apps, you're speed dating, depending on, sometimes they have that at universities, sometimes in big urban cities like New York. You're down to what people call cold approaching, like bars, like basically
You
trying
know,
to meet
you know,
strangers at a
like
bar.
outside exists. Like people can speak to each other outside.
Yeah, but
You
that's
do
not
know that,
done. I
right?
mean, if you're at a grocery store, you're not going to just, hey, can I stop you and talk to you for a minute?
I've
It really
literally
doesn't
met
happen.
someone that way, and they've become my friend that way.
Yeah,
So
Hannah meets lots of guys in many ways.
yeah,
I mean, it's very
It doesn't
rare and
just have to
very
be high
unlikely.
school.
Well, it doesn't have to be, but that is the best environment. And like, if you have young people listening, I'll give you good advice. If you're in middle school or high school now, this is the best chance that you have to securing a life partner. Don't be buying into this idea that it gets better the older
But
you get, that
Alex,
you get more
Alex,
opportunities the older you get. You don't. Like the people you
Alex,
get to
why would
you
know.
have
these
to put
kids?
in
Why
effort
would
though.
these take? Alex, why would these kids take advice on or relationship advice from someone who can't get a relationship?
Take advice, don't do what I did. Okay, I messed my life up by pursuing higher education to an
Do you
extreme
really
degree.
think you're too far gone? What are you, 30, and that's too far gone to get a girlfriend? You're never gonna get that opportunity again.
Yeah, I said
No,
I wanted to go get
early
coffee with
30s.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're hitting up,
yeah.
you're chatting up Hannah. You could probably give her the dick. You know, it's not hard. You know, it's
Yeah.
normal.
Again,
But
when you say stuff like that, I mean, that is like trolling comment or trolling to your stuff. Like, I'm not going to have indiscriminate, casual sex. Like, I don't work like that. Like, I do need to get to know somebody first. And when you
yeah,
go
well,
down that
she's saying she
avenue of
wants to
like,
get to know you.
yeah, you get to
Okay,
know somebody. I
get
mean,
Yeah,
up.
I
that's what I
said
meant when I
coffee,
said
not your
with the high
bed.
school environment is the best because you get to know the same group of people over an extended period of time, often for many years.
Yeah,
When you
you
get
keep
to
repeating
college,
that stupid
Okay.
point,
yeah,
but
yeah.
still,
Gwe-
what I'm trying to say is Hannah's trying to chat you up now. Why do you keep saying you're too far gone? You're
Oh
having the
no,
opportunity right now.
I'm not saying I'm too far gone. I still hold out hope. It's going to take a massive amount of effort on my part, which is if anybody who's in this chat has been subscribed to my channel, they know like for the past year I've been on the hunt for what I've called Shangri-La, which is a much better environment to try to find somebody. Now, most
That's
people are going to like they'll talk
that's
about
just
going
living.
abroad,
That sounds
which
like
is
Sharia
no,
law.
All right.
no,
Hang
no,
on.
not at all, not at all.
All right.
It's
Think about
not.
it.
Gwe-
Some
Shh, shh.
environments are going to be much worse for you if you're a single male than others. If everybody around you is either
Well,
much older
obviously.
Wait, one second.
or yeah,
Kaya's
obviously.
muted. Kaya, are
Uh,
you meaning? Do you mean to be muted? Because you're muted.
No.
no. How do I mute myself? Hello? How do I stop this? Oh no. I don't hear anybody now. Wait. What the fuck?
You're working in that type of environment,
Hello?
oftentimes people do meet at work. So if your work environment is heavily male dominated, or what
Well,
females
mine
are
is
there maybe
very
from,
male
yeah,
dominated. Engineering?
and what maybe that you do encounter are maybe from different countries, I'm sorry. I mean, you need a strong degree of commonality to like I want to talk about stuff like Pride and Prejudice. Like that's going to be a major obstacle for some. No, for real. I mean, think about it. If you think back to junior high and high school, how did you get to know each other? Like you would be in like AP literature, and you'd be like, okay, what does this symbolize in this book? And when somebody talked about that, you got to know, oh, hey, that's where they're coming from.
Then
That's
just
where.
That's boring, actually.
well, no,
That-
it's not boring.
it, I mean,
Someone mute this
there's.
guy.
Sorry.
No, I think that you can have those conversations now too. Like, I've recently been talking with a guy, and we've been reading books and talking about books and stuff like that, and I think you can still have those conversations outside of high school.
Oh, you can, but it becomes much harder and much rarer. To
Why
find.
is
You
it
could, for
harder and
instance,
rarer?
because you're no longer around people of the same age, same
Because we're
upbringing.
not
Like you could
shoved in
join.
a
Listen, you could join a
mothball-ridden
book club.
classroom together?
There's nothing wrong
Oh.
about the classroom. I mean, you could have classroom outside, and we often did. But I'm saying, once you get out in the real world, like you could join a book club or whatever it is, but chances are the people there are not even going to meet the basic criteria for a relationship. Meaning, opposite sex, ideally, if you're a straight person, similar age, plus minus 5, 7, whatever your limit is. If you get into the workforce and you're dealing with somebody who's 57 and is married and has kids. It may be okay to talk to this person, but it's a dead end. That's not going to result in
I
anything.
feel like you're very socially dyslexic and you just don't understand how people work.
No, I'm pretty good at reading people, I think.
Doesn't seem like it. You think you have to meet in high school.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the best relationships are going to be the ones that form early, whether they're friendships or think about this. If you have friends, who are your closest friends? Chances are it's the guys you knew from junior
No.
high or high school.
That's ridiculous. I barely know anyone from my high school. I meet new people.
I know
Yeah, but
3 people
those
still from high
relationships,
school.
those relationships are not going to be as good as the ones you had when you were younger.
Yeah,
At least
that's
in my
insane.
case.
Yeah,
False.
that's
No,
insane.
no.
It's a stupid thing
Completely
to say.
false.
I disagree. The relationships that you form later in life are always going to be weaker. You're not going to have as deep a connection.
You
They're going to come and go.
are completely false.
Why does
That doesn't-
that make any sense, though?
That doesn't make
Because
any
people
sense.
can be fucked up that you knew in school. I don't understand.
I've
the
made
difference.
Yeah,
amazing
but you would
relationships.
understand why they were fucked up. Let me give you a was it Kipling, The Stranger in My Gates? Can I read a poem, please?
How
No,
long is it?
no,
It's pretty
no.
long.
We
I
don't.
mean,
We
well,
don't need
it's
a
a-
poem.
It's a
If
short
it's-
poem.
If it's more than
No.
like a minute,
Let him read
I
it.
don't know.
I veto it.
Read
No,
it.
we don't need
Well,
a
listen,
poem.
I'll give you the
Listen,
synopsis.
listen,
I'll give you the
Alex-
synopsis.
Let him read it.
Okay,
Alex,
it was
I've
a
had a lot
poem.
of
No,
friends.
let me finish. It was a
I don't wanna
poem
get
by
poem.
Rudyard Kipling. Okay, he wrote The Jungle Book, and he had this poem called "The Stranger in My Gates." And basically, he says, what does he say? It's basically. Let me get it for you. Just one sec. I'll give you the synopsis. It's
We
not
don't
too
need that.
long. Okay, no, it's really good. But what it says is, the stranger may be like good, he may be bad, but I can't relate to him. The men of my stock, and when he says men, he means like his countrymen, people from his society, and he grew up late
Well, you get to know them.
1800s
That's the whole
England.
point.
No. But you have certain commonalities, and he goes, bitter bad they may be, but at least they hear the things I hear and see the things I see, and whatever I think of them and their likes, they think of the likes of me. So it's a
No, that
really
has
good poem,
nothing
and
to
it
do
kind
with
of.
your point.
No, it explains when she said like, oh, the people you knew in high school could have been fucked up. That's true, but you could relate to their level of being fucked up. You were probably.
Well-
It's like, what is that? No, what is that song? I want someone broken like me. What is that song? No. What is it? What?
I don't know what the
What is it?
song
Hey,
is. but
hey,
Alex,
I'm-
I think
all I wanna
what you're
say is-
saying, I think that
Hold on,
people
let me
can
find it.
have
It's
commonalities
Lovely the
together.
band. Okay, it's 1 year old. Lovely the band, broken. But anyway, what I'm saying is you would be similarly affected, similarly dysfunctional. So when you start to diverge at a young age, it's less likely that you're going to encounter someone that you can really relate to. I mean, this is the
Humans
fact.
are humans
Like, it
across
just
the
gets
globe.
worse.
Why do I
Yeah,
have to
listen,
be in the
it
same
gets-
hometown?
It gets worse the longer you go on in life, and that's why you'll see
No.
these old men or old like solitary women just living their own little lives. Maybe they never found anybody. Maybe they're a widow or widower, and they just live, their quiet, isolated lives.
No,
Because
this
once you
is
get further in life, you're not going to be able to
no.
You're
develop
alluding
these
to a
connections.
causation.
That's reality.
That's
No, I mean,
that's
like
it's correlation without causation. I think
this is
that's
like
you're saying a fallacy that
this
doesn't make
Okay.
sense.
I'm gonna
It's
repeat.
really
No.
one thing.
For your young
Like,
listeners,
really.
if you're in high school, make it happen now. Like you put a a countdown clock on your fucking desk for when you graduate high school, because that's when your life is over.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
no
but
one,
not everyone is
no
like
one,
You
you.
got to make it happen.
no one
You got to
here is
make it
agreeing
happen.
with you, Alex.
You find a life partner before you graduate, and you know what? You revolve your life around her. If she's going to a different university,
You're
then you guess what? You're not going to your university. You're gonna
Mhm.
go with
no.
her.
Okay, look. This
Okay.
is why you don't have a
You let her
girlfriend.
put. No,
This is why you
no,
don't have a
I
girlfriend.
disagree. I
Alex,
don't have a
Okay?
girlfriend because
Alex, calm
no,
down for a
listen.
second.
I don't have a
Alex,
girlfriend.
Nah,
calm down for
all
a
of you,
second.
all of you,
I-
all of you, calm down for a moment. All right, you can continue after this. I am sleepy, so I'm gonna go to
Oh
sleep.
God.
Ah, you're going to sleep, Kaya?
Yes, I'm sleepy, man.
Yeah, it's like 1 a.m. for it's like 5
Oh,
a.m.
Yes,
I don't
it's-
know.
it is. It is, yeah.
Yeah, it's late for
Kaya,
me.
we're never
So
gonna be. we're
Tired
never
of
gonna be
hearing this
close
guy talk
friends.
about lusting after high school girls.
okay, you guys can continue. I'm just saying.
No, I'm saying
me
you have
personally.
to when you're a high school age boy, you
It
have
was
to
a
get a
joke.
Yeah.
high school age girl.
I was
Are
joking.
you saying I'm never gonna be able to marry Kaya because we didn't meet in high school?
I'm
Yeah.
just saying, me as a high school age boy, I might have to wind this down. But you can join discord.gg/Turkish, right?